If athleisure was a radio show, this would be that radio show. Bo Bishop, a man of fine taste and Montana class.
My wife will try and drag me to like an Easter brunch buffet, and I don't even like that because I don't like everybody standing over food I'm going to eat.
Friends with the highest intellectuals.
We found out the hard way. We have white furniture. That's all I'll say.
What a mess.
Oh, God. Holy
Literally.
An athlete, coach, husband, and father.
That drives me nuts. My kids are, I'm him. Shut up. Are you kidding me? You're 9. You're not him. I don't even know what the hell that means.
And two guys who are considerable downgrades from a former football player.
You were saying the Olympics wasn't interesting you yesterday. Well, can I offer you 50 seconds of interest?
50 seconds of interest is a similar pitch I make to my girlfriend on a nightly basis.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, let's do it live on a Tuesday edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next 3. We will hit the real truth at 10 o'clock. 10:30, Dom stops by for a little Tuesdays with DeBerry. In the 11 o'clock hour, we blitz the NFL, and then Ben Baby on the Bengals. 0-3, your Cincinnati Bengals. It is fall, spooky season, silly season, maybe just absolute bonkers nuts. All of these things happened in the last 12 hours with my family. So last night, we're sitting watching the NFL games, which I love, by the way. I didn't know. It's awesome. I just have to assume that everybody has 2 TVs. And if you had 2 TVs, it was great. Like you're watching 2 games at once. Is that too far of an assumption to assume that everybody has 2 TVs at this point, or at least 2 screens?
2 screens, I don't think is too far of an assumption. You can get a laptop, a tablet. Yeah. If you're really desperate, you can get your phone. Or if you're like us, you might just have 2 TVs. Dual screen, that's also an option. That's the one thing that annoyed me. I didn't like having 2 games. I think if you're just going to put it on its pedestal and have Monday Night Football, just have one game going on. Like, what stage would you put 2 plays on? I don't want to go see Macbeth and Hamlet put together on one stage. And
I think it's possible that the way that the first one went made it even better. Because if you were just stuck watching the Bills boat race the Jaguars, then at that point, that's a tough Monday night. But because that was kind of over as the other one was starting, you could keep an eye on Buffalo while focusing primarily on Cincinnati, which is what we did.
But what the inverse of that argument is, what if both games are good? And now
we didn't have to deal with it.
You're right. Both. That's why I was like, because there was one point where
would be tough.
There was one point where the Buffalo game was getting out of hand, and so they went picture in picture, and I had both TVs on, and I'm like, why am I watching 1.5 games over here, and one of those games is on over here? But
I remember. I did figure out why they did it last night.
Okay.
They did it because last night the other networks launched their new shows. Fox, NBC, CBS, like the old traditional networks, they launched their new shows last night, their premieres. And so this was, wait till you get a load of us. That's what this was.
They just keep doing that. That we will not only outrate you on ABC with football, we'll play a different game on ESPN and probably outrate you.
That was what it was about. So we're sitting here watching the games last night, and I've kind of come to, I mean, there's no scientific proof to this, but I think there's a decent chance that I might be allergic to Buddy Garrity a little bit.
Oh, no.
Not crazy, but like a little bit of runny nose when he's around. And I started to notice, so last night we're all sitting there watching. I said, God, I think I might be a little bit allergic to Buddy Garrity. And the boy said, well, you had dogs when you were kids and animals. I said, yeah, but they were not in the house. They were all outside. And I am allergic to cats, 100%. And Bootsy goes, well, are we going to get rid of Buddy? And my wife, without skipping a beat, goes, no. Like, without skipping a beat. And it's like, no, just Dad will suffer. Like, God forbid that the dog, we find another solution, or that we vacuum daily or anything like that. Like, just Dad will suffer. It'll be fine.
You can just go live in your bedroom.
That's fine.
Just keep the dog out of there, and boom.
That's fine.
That's where you're
That's fine. We'll see Dad in the morning, and then you'll go in there, and he's convalescing, and you'll hug him, and that's the way that'll go. Then this morning, I'm taking NBC to school, and the term that he's using is rizzing up. So he's rizzing up several potential candidates to be his lady friend. Which I like
school
using.
Dances and stuff in middle school.
Nah, it's coming. It's coming. They got a big haunted house in a couple of weeks. So he's got to make sure he's got a girlfriend for that. That's a big one because you go with your lady friend on that. I like using lady friend because he thinks it sounds old fashioned, and I agree, it kind of does. But I like annoying him. So he's trying to have a lady friend procured. He calls them his schemes. I said, how many schemes do you have going? He goes, I got 3 schemes. And I go, well, how many are in town? And he said, 2 are in town, 1 isn't. And I said, well, why don't we just drop the one that isn't in town? I said, well, what's the distance? And he says 20 minutes. And I said, well, let's drop that one because, I don't know, you can't drive and you're never going to see somebody 20 minutes away other than through Snapchat.
So it's not actually 20 minutes for you. It would be
you'd be walking. What are we talking about? So he goes, so he's risen them up and he's got these schemes going and trying to sort it out. And I said, well, let's trust it. He goes, Dad, well, you dated girls from other towns. I said, I was in high school. I could drive. So let's start there. You're right. I did. But
there's also less people around in Montana.
Also, it was rural. And the girls in my grade I could date, 2 of them were my cousins. And we did not. There's no polygamy in Montana. So that wasn't in play. So away you go on that front. So he's going to do this, and he's trying to rizz up these girls, as he calls it. So then Beamsy, I get back from taking him to school. Beamsy, to steal a word from NBC, total crash out this morning. Just total. And I think it's got to be fall turned and it's the weather and whatever. They're just behaving irrationally. Total crash out because he couldn't find a hoodie. I mean, he was on his floor like almost in tears. Like he's 10 on his floor. And I go, what are you doing? And he goes, I can't find a hoodie that's bad enough, that's good enough to wear to school, but bad enough to wear in art class.
Okay.
So I open his.
See the dilemma.
It's a huge dilemma for him.
They don't have pink shirts anymore? Any smocks for these kids?
And he's the one who, of all of them, he's the one who, like, will not wear new shoes if it's raining.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he will rather wear them once in their lifetime than wear them and get them dirty. So, like, that's where his head was with it. And so they were getting late, so that was going on. Meantime, while all of this is going on this morning, we're rizzing up girls from out of town. We got meltdowns on hoodies. And all of a sudden, Bootsy goes, I don't think I feel well.
He saw his opportunity.
Really? I said, that's interesting. It's interesting. You don't feel well. I said, and so we have like a gun for the head, you know? And so he goes to the gun and he goes, look, Dad, 99.8. And I said, well, can I take a look at that? He goes, no, you don't need to. You don't need to. I did it. It's 99.8. I think I might have a fever. Now, he and me and him and Beamsy last week watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Mm-hmm.
So he was trying to Bueller it. Because I take the gun and I shoot him up and he goes, it's 98.6 or whatever. I'm like, dude, you're good. He's like, yeah, I am starting to feel better. I bet you are. This is what happens, though.
Did he go to something that was hotter? Did he try to heat up his own forehead?
I could see him. He had oatmeal this morning. I could see him, like, putting it near the oatmeal. He's pretty
just
crafty.
Seeing how high he could get it.
What could I get it to that doesn't get me to the hospital? Because I felt like watching Bueller with him.
99 is a perfect number.
It's a great number. Yeah. Keeps you out of the hospital. Watching Bueller with him was a little bit like taking Tony Montana to Colombia. Like and showing him the cocaine world.
That's what happens
what's possible.
in Blow, the movie with Johnny Depp,
That's
where
right.
he goes to prison. He's like, actually, it was a master's degree in dealing drugs. And then he gets out and he's better at it.
Yeah, you take George Jung to go meet Pablo Escobar. And then
there you go. That's his name. Yeah, Bo, I do have one solution, though, from your whole problem and your whole list of things that have happened in the last 12 hours. Buddy Garrity, you say, oh, I might be allergic to him, but we're not getting rid of him. He's a part of the family. We can't get rid of him. Here's what you do. Sit next to NBC tonight and start doing those sniffles. Sneeze maybe once and be like, no, it's not Buddy. I think it's all your fragrances.
The fragrances.
I think we got to get rid of all these fragrances.
Yeah, he told me today he had them layered. He had the fragrances layered was his whole operation today. So I don't know. This is for those of you you Chops. You're going to have a young male, and you're going to have a little kid there, and all the young. This is what you're in for.
Yep.
This is what's coming your way. Is a steady diet of this on a daily basis. Go ahead, Riz.
I really thought you were going to go with when you sit next to your son, you sniff him and be like, I might be allergic to you. Gonna have to be one less child short in this house.
I always warn all of them. There are 3 of you.
At any point.
The name goes on no matter what. So I can be down one easy, no problem. I think the thing that was most disappointing was like how quickly my wife was like, absolutely, we are not getting rid of Buddy Garrity. If we have to get rid of Dad, fine.
Yeah, no talks of even solutions, like
not
you
even
said.
a solution. He's going to be exactly where he is. It's disappointing though. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's something else. I don't know. But there's something that's going on. This weekend in the NFL here locally in the state, this is your Buckeye warm blanket, kids. This is what it is. And on the way back from the Browns game on Sunday, in fact, one of the boys actually said that of their own, and maybe they just heard me talk enough that they knew it was coming. But they were complaining about the Browns and why do we have to like the Browns and the colors and the name and all of this. And I'm like, look, I get it. It's all tough. I understand. And at one point, Beamsy said, well, would we like the Browns if we didn't live here? And if you didn't do stuff with the Browns? And I said, probably not. I don't know. You could like whoever you want. I'm not making you like them. You can like whoever you want. I don't force them to like anybody. And then he followed that up with, well, at least we have the Buckeyes. And yeah, that's it. That's it. It's the whole thing. I remember years ago this is probably James and I first year. I did kind of this whole thing. It was one of those start of the season opening segments that I did, and it was about this notion of for 100 years they make you feel good 9 out of 10 weekends, and that's what they do. They're the constant. They're there for you, and they got your back. And when the Browns do the things the Browns did on Sunday, and the Bengals just say, hey, we're not going to play defense. We're good. Not going to play any defenses on Monday night. In a must-win. It's a must-win. They're 0-2. There's like 4 teams in the last 30 years who have made the postseason starting 0-3. Last one was Houston in 2018. It's hard. It's uphill for them in a very, very big way. They had to win last night, and they could not stop Jaden Daniels. And we'll get to him in a second. But, boy, you got to bow up once, and they couldn't.
No.
And yet Ohio State's 3-0, ranked second in the country, and you get a chance, or third in the country, you get a chance to play Michigan State in the Big Ten opener on Saturday, and all is well in Buckeye land.
Yeah, as you were just talking about that, I was wondering, it is really nice to have that cozy blanket that Ohio State football offers. And it made me think, well, what football fans are in an area of the country or a city that is just right that they don't have any cozy blanket? That everything is terrible for them. And I was
Detroit for a while.
Yeah, Detroit's a good one.
When Michigan was
Boston's
losing.
the opposite of it. Everything's a warm blanket.
In my youth, Boston was the epitome of it because all those teams sucked. You had the Celtics in the 80s, but from the late 80s through the Red Sox winning in the early 2000s, it's nothing. I mean, they got nothing.
And then it all flipped. All of them won at least one championship.
Then it became Winnersville, USA. Probably before Michigan got good the last 3 years, Detroit would be, the Lions were brutal for a long time. For most of that stretch of the last 15 years, the Tigers have been bad. The Red Wings, that's a long time from Stevie Y. So it's probably Detroit.
Could you throw Atlanta in there before Georgia finally broke through and got the championship?
I think it's so much apathy in Atlanta. They love their Braves.
They don't even care about the college team in the city. They care about the college team that's, 100 miles away.
It's such a melting pot. Those, like Nashville, Atlanta, Birmingham, to a lesser degree, but Nashville and Atlanta are such melting pots of Southern. Like everybody who goes to SEC schools, they go there to make their money. So it's such a. I'd say Atlanta's just an SEC town.
Yeah, Nashville, you're right. Also, it doesn't feel like a Titans town, really.
No, and I don't think it even feels like necessarily a Tennessee Vols town. I think it just feels like it's a place where Southern people who go to the SEC, they go there to make their money.
Yeah, kind of like how Chicago is kind of a little bit of a catch-all for Big Ten schools.
Yeah. So there you go. You had 2 Monday Nighters last night. They were fun. Jaden Daniels was absolutely sensational in this game, and the Bengals are 0-3. My goodness. Lots of NFL to discuss over the course of the next 3. We're off and running. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
This promo is brought to you by Common Man and Timmy Hall's Ping Pong Game. The Fan.
Hey there, football fans. It's Austin Ward. People are noticing the difference with me on the sidelines this year. A little quicker on my feet and 55 pounds lighter thanks to Awaken 180. Getting some comments, even starting a press conference, getting asked how many pounds I've lost. Let's not forget that famous question, you actually kept off the weight? Yes, sir, I have, and it's been almost a year since I dropped my 55 pounds, which took just over 2 months. If I had gone the medication route, it would have taken 4 times that, and I would still be on the meds. I ate to lose weight with Awaken 180's at-home program, and to this day, I still thank Chops for introducing me to the solution for weight loss. Guys, girls, the program is simple. It's fast and can literally work for anyone. Have questions? Ask me, ask Chops, ask Scotty Vegas, or any of the other 23,000 Awaken 180 clients who took control of their weight. Already game? If so, speak to Awaken 180 directly by calling 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
With so much happening every day,
ABC6 News is on your side, helping you understand the events that impact your community.
Do you believe Columbus City Schools is in a PR crisis?
Central Ohio's most experienced team of reporters, persistent in getting answers to the questions you're asking.
Are you worried about how people are going to react?
And when you need us, ABC6 News is on your side, finding solutions.
6 on your side, they're the ones willing to answer the phone.
You can count on ABC6 News to be on your side.
ABC Tonight.
You know how when you're living your life and then all of a sudden you're out there helping cops solve crimes? That's me.
Critics are calling High Potential a fun, slick crime procedural.
I have an IQ of 160. I spot things that detectives miss.
Caitlin Olsen is fantastic with razor-sharp wit and sass.
I think it was murder and a cover-up, but I want to know how you know.
Sounds like a challenge.
It's brilliant television with a blend of humor and mystery.
Got a dead body. Gotta go.
High Potential.
Tonight at 10 on ABC6. Here's a quick listening guide. When something's on the fan, it's on the station you're listening to right now. If I say something's on ESPN Columbus, it's on 1460 AM and the Fan's HD2. When in doubt, stream it on the Fan app. Thank you and good night.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every single night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I get it. But there are alternatives to the CPAP machine, and Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and stops your snoring. What a concept. It's quick, comfortable, and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and he has a track record to prove it. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. And as the end of the year approaches, a lot of people have exceeded their medical deductibles, which means less out of pocket for you. Don't delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. Or you can visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or sleepbettercolumbus.com.
They come here illegally, crossing our southern border. Then Sherrod Brown rolls out the welcome mat for them here in Ohio. Brown voted to give amnesty to 11 million illegal immigrants, including those convicted of crimes like drunk driving, aggravated assault, and child abuse. And Sherrod Brown voted 10 times to protect sanctuary cities in Ohio, which release dangerous illegals back onto the street, making Ohio's neighborhoods less safe. And while we struggle to make ends meet, Sherrod Brown is voting to give illegals taxpayer-funded benefits, like health care for illegals granted amnesty, Social Security, COVID relief checks, even a program to fly Haitian migrants into Ohio airports, all paid for by you, the taxpayer. You think you know Sherrod Brown? Well, after 31 years in Washington, Sherrod Brown's way too liberal for Ohio. American Crossroads paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. AmericanCrossroads.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We will be looking at a few downpours. There could even be a couple of stronger thunderstorms early this afternoon. Temperatures going 80 today, 81 tomorrow with a few showers, and then Thursday is looking drier. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Distilled sports discussion served in light beer quantities. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Indeed, you are here on a Tuesday edition. It's your Uncle Bo here, and proud to tell you about my friends at Diamond Cellar. Whether you are popping the question or ready to say I do, only one true jeweler here in town to shop for your one true love. And as true jewelers, Diamond Cellar not only has designer luxury collections to suit your bridal needs, but they also have talented in-house designers who create something truly one of a kind just for you. For more than 75 years, it's unbelievable how good you have to do business to be in there for 75 years and still be at the top of it. That's what they do. Their expert staff has been caring for couples just like you and providing the absolute lowest rates. Price is guaranteed. Diamond Cellar, check them out. Sawmill Road, Easton Town Center, diamondcellar.com for more on that. Let me ask you guys this. Was Snapchat something that you guys participated in? Reese, did you participate in the Snapchat when you're single and, as Mike would say, back banging?
So not in the way that it's being used now. Like Snapchat was more for dumb pictures of wildlights at the zoo.
Yeah,
we kind of came into it in the first incarnation of it. And so it was a wildly different app. Like, this was maybe a little over a year ago. I just couldn't stand it anymore, so it's
awful.
I'm not on it. But, yeah, when we had it was food and really stupid pictures of what you're doing.
Yeah, it was really used for the picture aspect of it, and then the chat stuff really started to become a bigger deal with it, but that was not, like, trading Snapchats to stay in contact with somebody was something that I never got to. It came out I remember the first time I saw it was my freshman year, when one of my roommates in my dorm was, like, taking a picture of himself making a goofy face, and I was like, what are you doing? Because he did it, like, multiple times in a row, and I was like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I take a stupid picture, and then I respond to them with the caption, and I was like, I don't get this.
What they do is, like, they just send half pictures of their faces with, like, cat ears, and then they just incessantly. There's no communication. It's just an image back and forth.
And they don't mean anything, and they're gone.
No,
and
they're just gone, and there's another one, and then they got to have snap streaks. Yep. I mean, it's just off. It's the end of the world. There's nothing. But like I said last week, like, my NBC doesn't have a phone problem. I have a phone problem. Just take it. So I take it. Like, that's enough. We're done. Because he found there's no way you can childproof them either. Like, there's ways around them. They'll out-scheme anything you're doing. You're going to put this on it, put a lock on it, do this. There's ways around everything. Like, there's no scenario where you can outsmart them or the technology. They're both going to be undefeated. So that's what they do when they're trying to rizz up, is they use the Snapchat so that and then they'll put, like, messages in addition with the images.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was just like a maniac last night. I'm like, dude, phone now. That's it. Done. We're done. Done with it. It's out of control. So it's such a different way. It's such a worse way to socialize.
It's really weird too, because
it's not even real human contact, and it's just nonsense.
It doesn't, like, it's not that it's like the kids, like you said, it's a parent problem and how everything is come, and you got to figure that out. But it does, like, take away I don't want to say risk, but, like, the nervousness of something. I remember calling a house number and hoping that the father didn't pick up, and if he did, just being like, hey, is insert name here, there, and hoping that works.
The amount of anxiety you had as an adolescent, calling blindly the home of a female, praying to God dad didn't pick up, and even mom wasn't great. You think the mom would be a little better, hoping it was a sibling. I mean, I don't know if that ever comes back. I don't, probably not, because now, I mean, I go, what are you doing on this? He showed me he's got, like, a snap streak with some girl who lives, like, 45 minutes away, who he's never met, of, like, 80 days. Like, what are we doing?
So they've known each other for 3 months, I guess.
He likely will never be in the same place as her.
You know what it reminds me of? MySpace used to have top friends.
Oh, yeah, right.
And it feels like the streaks are a way to show off your top friends.
It seems like that. And then he told me today on the way to school, one of his buddies was trying to catfish a girl. I said, do you even know what that is? And he's like, yeah, when you pretend to be someone you're not. And that terrified me, that he knew that.
But he didn't make the leap to, like, see, like, why catfishing is bad. Like, you got to be like,
I think he probably knows it's bad.
Yeah.
Like, he was presenting it in a way where it was, like, shameful that the kid was doing it.
Okay, that's good.
But it was one of their friends who was using his Snapchat to catfish a girl in another town. Like, this is the end of the world, kids. All of this stuff is. It's just the worst.
Or someday business will be done on Snapchat, and we'll just have to deal with it when these kids become adults.
Sucks so bad. Speaking of sucks so bad, here are the three teams the Cleveland Browns have played. The Giants, the Cowboys, and the Jaguars. Of those three teams, they have a combined 2 wins. The Browns' only win was against Jacksonville. How did they look last night? I mean, how did that Jacksonville operation look like? My God.
Straight
Buffalo
up bad, yeah.
Just motorboated them. I don't know what has happened with Trevor Lawrence. Does he need a timeout?
He's broken. That's a broken quarterback last night in Buffalo.
Looked like it, Reese.
Yeah, that's and it couldn't be any starker of a contrast when you had Josh Allen playing the way he did.
Well,
like, here's where we're at. There's where you're at. Look at the Lawrence. I see. And again, I don't want to say I'm an expert on this, but I've seen a lot of broken quarterbacks. Lawrence is one of them.
In the past 10 quarters.
Fair. Yeah, he hasn't won in, 8 starts?
He hasn't won in 8 starts in the past 10 quarters, which includes, I guess, the last night's game, the second game, and the last 2 quarters of the first game. 47.5% completion percentage, 432 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. He's been sacked 10 times in that span, so that's once a quarter.
Just a mess. And then juxtaposed to Jaden Daniels, who had, I don't know, that's as good as any rookie quarterback has ever played, ever? In the first month of the season?
Well, his stat is even crazier. Obviously, it swings into the positive, but this is from Jordan Dahani of CBS Sports. Jaden Daniels has 2 career NFL starts where his team scored on every drive, excluding kneel downs. Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, and Patrick Mahomes combined to do that twice in their entire careers, including playoffs.
It's stunning. And he hit every throw. I was talking with the Juice guys this morning about this. Like, Cliff Kingsbury is not maybe meant to be an NFL head coach, but he's a pretty dang good caller of ball plays. And when you combine his ability to call ball plays with a quarterback who fits the skill set that thrives in that type of offense, you get what you had last night. Mm-hmm. Daniels was sensational, but Cliff had them on their skates all game, every third down, fourth down, every big play. It was schemed so open. I mean, they threw to the tackle on the one. They ran the fake option rollout. There's nobody even there. Like, there's nobody in the screen, and they're in the red zone.
That fourth quarter touchdown to McLaurin that was kind of the nail in the coffin. Yeah. Were there 10 men for Washington? Because Aikman said it on the broadcast, and I never went back to, count.
I didn't either.
But it felt like they were so at one point, I think you saw the camera go to Jaden Daniels, and he was yelling, get the play in. Because they were just ready to go that fast. And if they had 10 men on the field and, then it felt like a broken play, but he said, bleep it, McLaurin's up there. It's incredible.
Yeah, Aikman did a great job of pointing out, he even said, I don't know if they'll take a shot here, but they can, because it's all man across the board. All you need's a step. That's it. And then they took one.
The cool thing landed. And the cool thing I learned last night is that, because their defense also isn't very good, the Washington Commanders are going to be a fun team to watch this year.
Well, yes, they are. And they've got a lot of weapons, and he looks sensational. He looks absolutely sensational. The thing that has got to be terrifying I don't know if it's, let's get to that next. Is it more terrifying that the Bengals defense did what it did last night, or is there at least some comfort in that the Bengals offense was pretty lights out? Which of those are you leaning more towards? We'll get into that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The Fan is live and local with Morning Juice, Caffeinate, and Dominate.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Common Man and T-Bone here for the Sportsbook, the ESPN Bet Sportsbook inside Hollywood Casino. Yes, they've changed the name.
It is better than ever, but they're still going to have your favorite teams on the biggest screens. You can place your bets, grab some wings and an ice-cold pint, and even hang out with us.
We're going to be there broadcasting live from 3 to 6, Friday, September 27th. And we've got tickets to give away, so come and be with us and hug us.
Must be 21 years or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Our clients deserve for us to care, and they deserve to feel serviced. They have questions, and they deserve answers. We're counselors first because I'm not selling them anything. I'm trying to teach clients how to protect themselves. At Curtis & Associates, we're personal injury attorneys. We've helped and continue to help hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. That's important to us. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, call now. 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT. Curtis & Associates. Attorneys who care.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman for the Bath Authority. It's time to make your bath and shower something you really love. Something so great, your singing in the shower comes from a genuine place of happiness. Don't keep staring at that outdated bath, the mold, the mildew, the broken tiles. Every unit from the Bath Authority is custom built. You choose the premium accents and accessories. Right now, get free installation on your new bath or shower, plus 36 months of 0% interest. Visit thebathauthority.com. That's thebathauthority.com. A better bath awaits.
I need a small order of sheet metal to repair something in the shop. It's not much, but can you help me out?
At metal supermarkets, no order is too small.
Wait, really?
Yep.
What about small home projects?
Yep.
For a car I'm working on?
Yep.
Any kind of metal?
Yep.
Cut to size?
Yep.
With no minimum order?
Yep.
How about 1,000 cut pieces of aluminum flat bar?
Yep. Choose from over 8,000 types, shapes, and grades of metal in any quantity you need. And yes, we're serious. Any metal, any size, ready fast. Locally owned on Wilson Road.
Friday night in the Buckeye State means only one thing: high school football, baby. Join Ryan Baker and Coach Lee Cochran for Byers Dublin Subaru High School Overtime.
Friday night at 9:30.
Your home of all things football, The Fan.
Your local Rite Aid might be closing, but don't worry. It's easy to transfer your prescriptions with GoodRx. First, check prices at GoodRx.com or on our app. Then show your coupon to the pharmacist. It's that simple. GoodRx can save you up to 80% on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, GoodRx is free, and it works whether you have insurance or not. Download the app or visit GoodRx.com today. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Barely 5 hours a week. It's how much time most of us spend outdoors. Not nearly enough time getting lost in canopies of breathtaking fall colors. Brilliant hues extending all across America's third most forested state. We could all use a little more time outdoors, soothing mind, body, and spirit in West Virginia. Plan your fall getaway at wvtourism.com.
James Laurinaitis here for my guys at Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. I love my Kubota tractor, RTV, and zero-turn I got from Green & Sons, and you can check them out online at greenandsons.com or visit them in store in Mount Sterling or north of Marysville in Raymond for all your Kubota needs.
Full inventory sale at Logan Services. Save up to $2,500 on a qualifying train system and ask us about tax credits. With a system for every home and budget, it's hard to stop a train with Logan Services.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BUY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BUY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BUY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
What's up?
What's up, man? Sup with you?
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery, home of the best blended whiskey in America. Grab a bottle or dine in at their 2 restaurant locations in Grandview and Gahanna. Drink local, drink High Bank.
Well, rather what's up, it's more like what is down. The Cincinnati Bengals dropped to 0-3 last night. The defense, no resistance for what Washington was trying to do offensively. We questioned this in August about their plan on the back end of their defense with Dax Hill, a safety playing one corner. Like, they just didn't seem like they invested in the back end at all. And this is kind of you reap what you sow. Zach Taylor was available post-game yesterday. He was asked about the defense. This is Lou Anarumo's defense. They've been so good for so long, but it is not good right now. Here's what Zach had to say.
It's a good offense. We got to get stops, and we never really put them in a third and long situation until that last one. That was really the first time that we put them behind the chains. And so when they can dictate the tempo, which they did, they were on the ball, they dictated the tempo. They kept themselves in really manageable situations. I thought the quarterback played great, 2 incompletions, made a lot of plays with his feet, so it was a difficult challenge, and obviously it wasn't enough from us today.
It was that side of the ball that let them down. Burrow and the offense got clicking and scored 33 points and were consistently in the red zone. Some of them didn't manifest in touchdowns, but 33 ought to be enough against a Washington team that is in the rebuild portion of where they are. Joe Burrow finally got it clicking, but 0-3 is 0-3. Let's start with Burrow assessing the loss.
I mean, they played great on offense today. Jaden played unbelievable.
we had our opportunities and didn't cash in on them. So that's been the common denominator from the first 3 weeks. We've had opportunities and didn't cash in on those. So whatever we got to do to get better this week, so we can come back on Sunday and execute in the spots and get better in the spots that we need to, is what we're going to do.
They are 0-3. They are notoriously slow starters under Taylor and Burrow, but 0-3 is a different level of a hole to dig themselves out of. Here is Joe on being 0-3.
We're not happy with where we're at, but by no means is the season over. We're 0-3. There's 14 left to play. We just have to continue to get better and see where the cards fall in the next 10 weeks, whenever the bye is. We just got to go into this week preparing to get better and trying to get a win. That's all you can do.
There's no question that 2 of their 3 losses, if you played the schedule game, you would have put as wins, both at home, New England and Washington. They're at Carolina this week, then the Ravens at home, then at the Giants, at Browns. So that's their next 4 games. Would you rather be a Bengal fan or a Browns fan if your objective is to get to the postseason, Reese?
I don't know. I don't think I can. Because I think I'd rather be a Browns fan. If the objective's the postseason.
All you ever do is want to be a different fan, and now you have a chance.
Well, if you're asking me one or the other, because what if they get carved up 300 yards by Andy Dalton this Sunday, the Bengals? Like, that's in play.
It is.
After watching the Bengals defense yesterday, and then at 0-4, you're cooked. The Browns at least have a win, and Joe Burrow is historically bad against Cleveland. So...
And the problem is, I don't know
they aren't great, both of them.
Yeah, but Joe Burrow is obviously in a better spot than Deshaun Watson. Having Higgins back yesterday clearly opened up the offense a little bit, and it was able to roll. But is that something that we can expect consistently after an 0-3 start? Because we said it yesterday when we were talking about this game. Washington's defense stinks. So I don't know if the Bengals are capable of scoring 33 points or if they're capable of scoring 33 points against Washington. And that makes me concerned because their defense is clearly capable of giving up 30-plus points.
All right, here's how I think I would answer this question. Which is more fixable, the Browns' offense or the Bengals' defense? And what this comes down to is it's really the nomenclature I used there when I said make the postseason, right? I didn't say go win the Super Bowl. If it's go win the Super Bowl, then I would still go Bengals because they still have Burrow, they have Chase. I feel like they can score on people. I do think that they unlocked some things yesterday. I think both backs look good. I'd go more Chase Brown than I would Zach Moss, but that's personal preference. He looked like he had a little bit more juice. More fixable if Cleveland, and we'll get to them in a second with their injury issues. If if they went back to their roots and ran the ball and treated Deshaun Watson the way the Steelers are treating Justin Fields, I think that the Browns' defense is still good enough that they can win a lot of games with that defense. I think that that's possible. I don't know that Cincinnati's back end is fixable.
People are going to score points on them all year long.
They're in the wrong positions. They have guys running free. I think the back end of that defense is a big problem.
That's what I was saying going into the season, and then the first, the Patriots one made me go, maybe, but then last week it looked a little bit better for the Bengals, and then this one is the damning one. And like I said, with that, like Washington's given up 29 points a game. It's 29th in the NFL. So the Bengals scoring 33, I don't know if that's impressive against Washington. Now, obviously, that is after this game, so the Bengals score kind of factors into it, but I don't know if their offense is going to be able to overcome what their defense is going to deliver them, which is not going to be as good as it has been. And we talked about in college, strike while the iron's hot. Lou Anarumo's not getting any calls for jobs anymore. That's over.
No, he's not. Cincinnati it's dire at 0-3. Okay, it's going to get worse. It could get a lot worse. There is a total of one team in NFL history to make the postseason with an 0-4 start. It's the 92 Chargers. Now, they play the Panthers, so that's as easy a layup as you're going to get in this league. Is the Panthers. It should be. That's as easy as it's going to be. You're in Carolina. But if they drop to 0-4, man, is this thing cooked. And at that point, do you start thinking like, trade Higgins now while you can get something for him? You feel like it, right? I mean, could you still get
maybe Hendrickson too?
You can't play this out. If this happens, if they go to 0-4, it'd be so hard to punt with Burrow because you only have so many seasons of him. But like if they get beaten, and I'm sure they're big favorites in this game on Sunday. I haven't even looked at it yet. I imagine they're favored by 3.5 or something like that at least.
They are 5-point favorites. 5. Yeah, down in Carolina too.
Okay, yeah. So handling that is going to 0-4 would be a wild thing to wrap your head around at Cincinnati. If you're looking for glasses half full, the offense clicked. If you're looking for glasses half empty, it's everything else.
I think the other half full aspect of it is no offense to the Steelers, but the right team is 3-0 if you feel like you can come back in this division. If the Ravens were out to a 3-0 start, you'd be like, man, now we're already 6 games behind them. How are we going to catch up to them? Where I know the Steelers don't bottom out, but they're not great. I know they're not great, and I think they could lose some games down the stretch. An easier team to catch up to, I think. And you're in the same boat as the other 3 in your division right now. Not quite the same boat. They're both 1-2. You're 0-3, but that's not a huge deficit to make up. So it is something the Bengals can do. That 4th place schedule helps them out this week, namely with Carolina. But there are tough games in there for sure. And they've already started 0-3 with 2 games that were supposed to be gimmies, as you mentioned.
Here's the thing with Pittsburgh, guys. They're 3-0. I think they beat 2 good teams. They beat Atlanta and they beat the Chargers. They're at Colts this weekend. Can you imagine Anthony Richardson against that defense? How many times are you going to throw it right to them? So they're going to go to 4-0. Then they've got Dallas at home. Dallas cannot run the football. So they're just going to tee off on Dak with Highsmith and Watt. And then they're at the Raiders. Then it's Jets at home, Giants at home. Like, it's very likely that in the first 8 games, Pittsburgh's like 7-1.
So they did the flip of what the Bengals did. They won 2 games they weren't supposed to, yeah.
To your point, then it gets tougher. Then they're at Commies, Ravens at home, at Browns, at Bengals, Browns at home, at Eagles, at Ravens, Chiefs, Bengals. So it gets tougher for them as it goes along. But they could easily be 7-1 by the time they get to go to Washington on November 10th. Very much in play. Very much in play. So the Bengals got some things that got to get fixed. The back end of the defense, I don't know if that part's fixable, but I think at the very least, offensively, they got momentum. They got headed in the right direction. Now it's just a matter of fix the defense a little bit if it's possible to do so. The Browns have some more finite issues, including injury issues up front. How do they tackle that? We'll get into that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Order like a champ at Raising Cane's. With tailgates of hand-battered chicken fingers and cane sauce and jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade, you can guarantee victory for every game day meal. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Ready for the best car buying experience? Visit KruegerFord.com today. Explore our amazing selection of new and pre-owned vehicles. Service and parts available when you need us. Come experience the Krieger commitment. The best cars, the best people, peace of mind. Visit KruegerFord.com today.
Scott from the Cleveland area has coached girls basketball and supported his granddaughter's athletic pursuits.
My granddaughters have worked hard to excel in sports. It's tough enough. So the idea that Sherrod Brown voted to allow transgender biological men to compete in girls' sports, it's unfair and dangerous. And introducing a bill to allow biological men in girls' locker rooms? Biological men to shower in my granddaughter's locker room? No way. I worry about the safety of my family constantly. Now I have to worry about Sherrod Brown's crazy liberal ideas. I thought Sherrod Brown was on my side, but he's way too liberal for me.
Sherrod Brown has let Ohio down. Now he's way too liberal for Ohio. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Picture this, the perfect summer barbecue. No stress, no responsibilities, just all your friends, burgers and hot dogs on the grill, and a delicious, refreshing Pepsi Zero Sugar in your hand. Sounds nice, doesn't it? Burgers sizzling, hot dogs cooking, Pepsi Zero Sugar fizzing, and a backyard of very, very happy people. Oh yeah, we could get used to this. Very, very used to this. Pepsi, the official beverage of Grill's Night Out.
Common Man and T-Bone are known for many things. And while great radio ain't one of them, shoving food down their gullets is their specialty. Join Man and Bone for Fat Boy Food Tip.
Live at 3 or on the podcast.
Your home for fat. The Fan.
The Columbus Men's Clinic opened in 2014 for guys who get it done. Let's talk, fellas. You solve problems all day at work. You fix your sink when it's broken. But when it comes to ED and low T, it doesn't get done. We get it. You hate going to the doctor, but you're the guy that fixes things. At the Columbus Men's Clinic, there's nothing to fear and no reason to delay. We've been destroying bedroom boredom for a decade. So if you haven't fixed this, call us. When the pills fail, call us. If you feel like you've tried everything, call us. Here, there's hope. From the conventional to the next level. You'll be seen by our friendly, discreet physician who will take the time to listen. Imagine finally taking care of this with no surgery. Imagine going from feeling gray to living life in vibrant color. It's time to be confident. Join the thousands of guys who have found success after walking through our doors. Will you be one of them? Dial 614-300-7400 or go to ColumbusMen'sClinic.com to schedule a $99 male performance consultation, including blood work. Do it for you. Do it for her. ColumbusMen'sClinic.com. Book your appointment now.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted it close to town with a picture window overlooking a yard. And you found it. Now, when you sit down to dinner, you've got front row seats too. Your neighbor's daily pickleball game. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Yeah, welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Our top men are working on everything except this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
Hey guys, it's Chops. And I'm about to be a dad. It's my first kid. It's going to be a big boy, or it's going to be a baby boy. It's a big deal. Honestly, I didn't think too much about my health. It'll probably be a big boy, too. My health before, though, because I was a big boy, and maybe, just maybe, I knew something was coming. That's probably why I dropped 95 pounds last year with Awaken 180. It was perfect timing because now I'm not lugging around all that extra weight while I'm trying to keep up with a toddler in a couple of years, a baby in just a few months. And look, I know there are some sleepless nights coming. Bring them on. I've got the energy for it now, and I'll be ready to roll. So whether you have kids, whether they're grown, whether you don't want kids, it doesn't matter. Awaken 180 works for everybody. It gives you the tools to lose the weight and keep the weight off with that free maintenance for life. So if you're thinking about doing it, make the call I did. Reach them at 844-346-1800 or online, awaken180weightloss.com. Bishop and Friends, we're sponsored by Awaken 180. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss.
I usually think I have a pretty good handle on why things are done from a television programming standpoint. We'll get to the Browns in just a second. This one I don't get. This is from the authority, the great Jerry Emig at Ohio State on the sports information side of things. Follow him at Buckeye Notes. We have a time change for the Ohio State football game Saturday at Michigan State. We'll start at 7:30 and not 7 p.m. as was previously announced. It will be streamed on Peacock. Now, they can move this because it's streaming. So it doesn't matter.
There's no other programming around
wherever
it.
they want. There's nothing else. I was trying to. I don't understand why you would do that. Why you would flip it. Now that I'm working my way through it, I wonder if it has something to do with the afternoon programming. Is there an NBC 3:30?
No, there's an NBC 7:30.
Here you go. This is it. This is why. So Notre Dame Louisville is also Peacock. It's at 3:30. So did that get switched from NBC?
It was Peacock yesterday. I know that because we were looking at it, and it was Peacock yesterday. But they can have multiple streams going on at once, right? They have multiple sports going on at any given time.
They're probably hoping for maximum that you get a competitive Louisville-Notre Dame game because they're just worried about the total numbers. And so maybe that game, if that's competitive, that will bleed into
And maybe they want to, like you said, combining the numbers because they've got Illinois, Penn State at 7:30. So if you combine 7:30, that one plus 7:30, Ohio State, Michigan State, Peacock, that maybe can go against Georgia and Alabama as far as like a ratings aggregate that you can throw out there. And it's funny, I just saw a graphic from Barrett Media, actually. They were looking at like the media distributor gauge from Nielsen. So it's the aggregated view of total TV usage by media company. For August, NBC Universal was 13.4%, the leader of the pack. YouTube, Disney, Netflix, and Paramount followed.
So that's football.
Mm-hmm.
Because they had Friday night football. They had that Friday night game. The NFL game down in Brazil was exclusively on them. So that's what football does. There are no dummies on that side of it. This is also the week where, God, they did UCLA so dirty. UCLA is their second Big Ten game against an actual historical sort of rival in Oregon is an 11 o'clock Eastern kick. So that's obviously 8 o'clock there, which is fine there, but it's 11 o'clock Eastern Oregon again. That kicks at 11 o'clock. Is there postseason baseball?
What's on Fox?
Well, the regular season ends Sunday.
So then what the hell would this be? What would Fox have in prime time that they would punt?
It doesn't
until 11 o'clock. There's nothing college football, at least nothing from ranked teams.
Yeah, nothing that I see. Is there like another Big Ten game on Fox?
Well, so there is baseball. It's Mets at Brewers or Orioles at Twins. So those have playoff implications.
That's what it is then.
A regional baseball game.
But
Oregon and UCLA at 11. Sure, guys, it's fine.
If you asked Fox, they'd be like, no.
This should have been Indiana at UCLA. That's the 11 p.m. game.
Yeah.
Oregon UCLA is an 8 p.m. game. Figure it out. Put that on Peacock.
Just struggles. That's outrageous. Speaking of struggles, the Browns struggled mightily offensively. We asked the question, would you rather be the Bengals or the Browns right now if the objective is to make the postseason? I think that I would still lean Bengals just because of Burrow, their defensive issues in the back end, and then as Wolfman Matt pointed out, also inability to get any pressure. Those things aren't great, but if you've got the quarterback and you can move it, you got a chance. I do think that Cleveland's path to the postseason is very, very difficult at 1-2, primarily because offensively they are an absolute mess. I don't know what they do well offensively. I said this when I was on with the Juice Bringers this morning. If I were Kevin Stefanski, I would treat offensive football and your quarterback the way that the Pittsburgh Steelers have handled Justin Fields in the first month of the season. I would give him simple stuff on the edges. I would say don't throw it over the middle. I think they have to acknowledge what Deshaun Watson is versus what they want him to be. I see no scenario, and there's just no proof in his 2.5 years playing there, where he is going to revert back to the guy who led the NFL in passing. So here's what the Browns can do well historically. They can run the football with this offense. So I'd get back to that. They only had 5 carries in the first half by running backs against the Giants. That ain't it. That's not who they are. Wyatt Teller, for example, who's out for a while now, he is an excellent run blocker. Not as good in the pass scheme. Go back to what you are. Go back to road grading. That's their best path forward, I really believe. We'll see if they can do it. Stefanski was asked about Deshaun Watson and his performance so far. Here's what he had to say.
Yeah, I think he sees the field really well. I think he, as a veteran that's played in a bunch of games, so understands different looks, sees it before we even talk about it on the sideline as he's coming off. So I think it is certainly we have to play better as an offense. When you're talking about protection, it's everybody. It's from myself, the coaches, the offensive line, tight ends, running backs, wide receivers, quarterbacks. It's everybody. And it's everybody has a job to do in order to keep the quarterback clean. So I got to do my part. It's no secret we can't let him get hit that many times. That's not good enough, and that will get fixed.
I don't have the actual stat in front of me, but I think it was on Pardon My Take, actually. I saw a clip of it, those two guys talking about it. But PFF has a very damning they figure out who's at fault for a sack, right?
Yeah.
And most of them are on Deshaun Watson right now, according to their statistical makeup and how they look at plays.
Yeah, I think they're right. There was, 8 sacks Sunday? I think a lot of those are on him. When Stefanski says he's seen the field well, it's like he's not seen the field well right now.
There's so much going on with this situation that is so uncomfortable, right? People vouched to acquire him. They paid him. They compensated the Texans richly for the right to acquire him. If you say out loud what everyone is thinking, then you're essentially acknowledging what I think most fans probably believe. And if you do that, it's just easier the other way to say there are other issues and we'll fix all of those, and then he'll eventually sort out. The other conversation, you can only have that conversation one time. You can do it once, and then it's done. And then that's a very brutal reality going forward. Here are the truth in numbers. Like, there's no disputing this. They are last in third down conversions in the NFL. They are second to the last in the NFL in penalties, and they are second to last in the NFL in total offense. That's fact. Okay? Watson on QBR is second to last only to Bryce Young,
who's historically bad.
Right. So whatever the issue is, those things are indisputable. Those are facts. That's what you've been through 3 games, and that's who you are as a football team. So to me, you've got to fix that, and this would be a drastic time to do it, but the timing is now. It is absolutely now to get this thing to where you can be competent playing offensive football, because they are incompetent at the moment, for sure.
Well, I love that after 6 years of shoving Kirk Ferentz's performance art, you're ready to embrace that style of play.
I'm leaning into Iowa, baby.
Like,
I don't even recognize my Hawkeyes. I don't recognize them scoring 30 points. It's not. I can't have it.
Who is this?
You've got to rely on your defense, who was better in the second half. The defense is good enough that you can win half the games with the defense. So with the beaten up offense, especially the offensive line the way that it is, simplify this thing. Take more time with possessions. Don't put the defense in bad spots, and hope you can get back to even Steven by the time you get, and maybe he can find some confidence along the way. We'll hit the real truth coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
1, 2, 3. Here at The Fan is always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. The Fan.
Looking for your next Subaru? At Byers Airport Subaru, we give you options from start to finish. Browse and shop entirely online from the comfort of your home at columbussubaru.com, or stop by and visit one of our friendly brand specialists just by the airport.
Right now, you can get a new 2025 Subaru Outback for 2.9% for up to 72 months.
Whether you prefer to click or come in, we've got you covered. Your journey starts at Byers Airport Subaru. Come see why it's better to buy at Byers.
Subject to credit approval. Financing offer term up to 72 months on 2025 Subaru Outback. Cannot be combined with any other incentive. See dealer for details. Offer ends 9/30/24.
To Central Ohioans, fall means one thing, football. At Sears Heating and Cooling, fall also means one thing, furnaces. We're not plumbers or electricians. Nope. For 74 years, we've been your Central Ohio heating and cooling experts. Need an electrician or plumber? We'll gladly give you a referral, but we won't pretend to be your one-stop shop for all the trades. We're HVAC experts, and our mission is to provide the highest quality service at the best possible price. That's the local advantage of doing business with your neighbors at Sears Heating and Cooling. Online at SearsHeatingCooling.com.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. I want to tell you about my friends over at Newman Roofing. When I needed a new roof, there was only one company I was going to call, and that was Newman. Because as a family-owned and operated company, Newman Roofing understands the importance of creating a customer experience centered around values that's built on a foundation of trust and integrity. Newman Roofing has been maintaining its commitment to the company's core values for over 32 years, and it shows, folks. When we dealt with them, they were fantastic. Each team member we dealt with, they were dedicated to respecting both you and your property in hopes of creating a lasting relationship with each family they interact with. If you're someone who values quality workmanship and excellent customer experience, then Newman Roofing, well, there's nowhere else to go. It's the company for you. So whether you need a small roof repair or a complete roof replacement like I did, the team at Newman Roofing approaches every job with the same level of care and excellence. So give them a call at 614-NEW-ROOF. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof. NewmanRoofing.com.
At Diamond Cellar, we've been crafting love stories for over 77 years. Trust, quality, and always the guaranteed best price. Visit us today to experience the Diamond Cellar difference. Stop into our showroom on Sawmill Road or at Easton Town Center.
Windows, siding, APCO, absolutely. We don't rely on gimmicks to get customers. We rely on our reputation. APCO is a local, family-owned window and siding company established in 1962.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can trust APCO.
APCO.com.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Save no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Well, here we are again, and I got to tell you, Jim, this match has me really concerned.
Here we have a powerful heavyweight, a train, weighing in at 6,000 tons. And this hasty lightweight challenger, a car, at just 1.5 tons.
This does not bode well for the car or the people in it.
It's no contest. Every day, people are injured or killed trying to beat a train at rail crossings. See tracks, think train.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Number 3 Ohio State's on the road for the first time this season. Buckeyes are 25-point favorites at Michigan State for their Big Ten opener. That'll be a 7:30 kick from East Lansing. It was originally scheduled for a 7 o'clock kick. Hear more from head coach Ryan Day today at noon. We'll carry his weekly presser on the Fan. Coach Day will also join Skip Mossick, Paul Keels, and Jim Lachey tonight at 6:30 on a Tuesday edition of Buckeye Roundtable. In the NFL last night, the Bengals fell to 0-3 after losing to the Commanders 38-33. Bengals are at the Panthers in Week 4. That's Sunday at 1. The 1-2 Browns are in Las Vegas versus the Raiders this Sunday at 4:25. In hockey, the Blue Jackets lost to the Sabres 6-1 last night in their preseason opener. CBJ are back at Nationwide Arena Wednesday hosting St. Louis. This update sponsored by Roosters. Roosters is giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. Tickets, sideline passes, a trip for 2 to a postseason game, and more. Register at roosterswings.com.
We'll read your emails on the air, but we won't tell you where to send them. Hey, we're not doing all the work for you. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, second hour here on a Tuesday edition of the program. Uncle Dom coming up at 10:33. Time for a little bit of the real truth. Hit it, fellas.
Bishop and Friends present The Real Truth.
Sponsored by Diamond Cellar. Over 76 years of experience and guaranteed lowest prices on Sawmill Road or diamondcellar.com.
All right, first one on this Tuesday. Two teams we talked about a lot in the first hour. Neither the Browns nor Bengals will make the playoffs. Is that the real truth?
No, I think one of them will sneak in as the 7. I'm not sure. Cincinnati's schedule is much more navigable than Cleveland's is, although they have 2 losses to teams you would have said as wins. Here's why. You look at the AFC. So Buffalo's 3-0. New York is 2-1. Both of those feel like playoffs teams. That's 2. Pittsburgh's 3-0. They're not going to fall off a cliff. That's 3. Houston, 2-1. They'll win the South. That's 4. Kansas City, 3-0. That's 5. So then it's Chargers at 2-1. They feel, as long as Herbert can stay healthy, they feel like they would be in the mix. Baltimore at 1-2 isn't probably going anywhere, and then it's Cleveland and Cincinnati. So it's those 4 teams for 2 spots. The odds are one of them finds their way to double-digit wins and get there. So I'm not ready to bury them. Part of this is because the rest of the teams that are in the AFC are just god-awful. Miami, New England, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Denver, Vegas. None of those are serious people. Indy is not serious people with that kid playing quarterback right now. They might be with Flacco. So that's why I feel like I'm not ready to bury either one of them yet. I think one of them could still very well get in, but both of them are not. They're not both getting in. One of them will get. I do think that one of them will. So I don't think this is a real truth yet.
Yeah, after the injury to Tua, it feels like the AFC North is for sure the favorite of the divisions to get 3 teams in, and a lot of the other divisions. I think in the East, you're going to get the Bills and the Jets most likely. And depending on what happens with Tua, if he does come back and play, maybe the Dolphins. They're kind of hard to predict right now. I mean, Skylar Thompson got hurt too, so now who's playing quarterback for Miami? But the other divisions, I think it's just going to be the winners. Maybe the Chargers do something. So there are the spots available to them, but if you said both will make the playoffs, I would have said not the real truth. But you said neither will make the playoffs. No, yeah, you're right. I think there is one that figures out a way to make the playoffs, and it might just come down to who wins those games. If they don't split them and one of them gets the 2-0 against the other, that might be the difference maker. And Reeser, you love the Browns' chances against Joe Burrow and the Bengals.
Well, he's 1-5, so history is, true. I guess, on the Browns' side. I keep flip-flopping with this. One of these two teams will make the playoffs, so this isn't the real truth the way that it's phrased. But the Joe Burrow thing and the way he looked last night, bringing T. Higgins back, if they can get some health on the interior of their defensive line and maybe pick something up at the trade deadline that can bolster the back end of the defense.
Yeah.
Okay, that maybe, because again, I think one of these teams in the AFC gets a big boost come the trade deadline, and if it's the Cincinnati Bengals, you can talk me into a wild card spot for them.
Bo, you're an NFL GM. Is there a picture day every day where everybody gets in uniform and takes photos? Because the television is allergic to taking any recent photos of Joe Burrow and putting them in graphics. It is always his long hair with a headband on.
Yeah.
He'd probably tell them no if they asked until he gets those long locks back.
Yeah, such a strange choice to go with what he did with that M&M look.
And it would work if
you see how he was dressed?
But the way, to go 0-3
walking into the game yesterday,
the kids want some of those cargo pants.
He went to Milan in the summer. I mean, he looked crazy He's just a kid from Athens, man. What are we doing?
This is the year for the Buffalo Bills. Is that the real truth?
Boy, they look good. They look really good. It's just so early. This is probably, and I am awful on the NFL so far this year. Kids, I'll try to do better in the coming weeks, but just brutal. I did not have Buffalo making the postseason. Now, part of that was because I thought Tua would be healthy in Miami, and the Jets would get in out of the AFC East, and this would be a transition year for Buffalo. I did not give proper credit to Sean McDermott. I did not give proper credit to the culture that they built there, the give-a-damn they built there, and Josh Allen he's going to win the MVP. He is going to win the MVP this year. It's hard. To me, he should be such a front runner that it's not even close. Will it be their year? They're still going to have to beat Kansas City, and he just hasn't done that in the postseason. So I can't say that. I'm never going to go against Mahomes again. I went against him last weekend thinking Atlanta would cover. They didn't. Shame on me. So I'm going to say not the real truth, but I'm very intrigued by the way they look because they looked lights out, and they have much of the season. Who'd they bury? The Dolphins on Thursday Night Football. They've been nuts. And honestly,
and so now we've seen them 2 weeks in a row, too. And
it's not only that, it's also, I give Arizona's frisky. Arizona's 1-2, but they played Buffalo tough, and they also played the Lions tough in the game this weekend. So Arizona's frisky, and I read a little too much into that 34-28 win they had in week one. Arizona's better than you think.
I was thinking the same thing when I went back and looked at their game log. It's like, well, now 3 weeks in, I think Arizona's actually a decent team. So not a great way to go at 34-28, but I'm not like, hey, that's a sign of problems because look at now they hold their next two opponents to 10 points and 10 points. So the defense is playing on spot, and it is a weird thing. Every once in a while, you feel like, okay, they're just saying things to keep it nice in the media. Well, maybe there was something to Stephon Diggs just not being good for their team morale or something. There was definitely shaky between them, and they get rid of them, and they look like this when we thought the offense, not Josh Allen per se, but just overall because of the talent around him, was going to take a step back, and it looks like they've taken a step forward.
Yeah, I'm not ready to say this is the real truth yet. Ask me on November 18th because they play the Chiefs on the 17th. So,
yeah.
They usually beat them in the regular season, which is the worst part about the postseason woes.
Yeah, I'm with you, Bo. I'm not ready just yet because they
look great.
That was fun to watch last night.
It was. God. Yeah.
This is like his Peyton Manning year. It's going to be awesome in the regular season, but then he's going to fall to Tom Brady, who's Patrick Mahomes in the postseason.
Could be.
That's what Josh Allen's going through. Ohio State 1-2 against the spread to start this season. So they cannot be a great team yet. Is that the real truth?
The yet is key. So what's the old line, right? Good teams win, great teams cover. Mm-hmm. This team has failed to cover twice. Right up against it in the game over the weekend and just came up short on that side of things. Here is the thing that you have, and this is not the real truth. They are a great team. Here's the thing you have to remember. The reason I put this one in here, and this is something that I failed to do in 2 of the first 3 weeks because I had them covering all 3. There is an Ohio State bump when it comes to the line. because they know there's going to be so much money bet on Ohio State. It's similar to the Cowboys and the Lakers. So these lines get inflated a little bit more than what they should be for the Buckeyes because they know so much money is going to come in on them. So this is not the real truth. They are a great team. And the reason they're not covering is because these spreads are like 7 points too much. And that's the reality of it. And really, they probably should have last weekend for sure.
I have another theory for why they don't cover. Ryan Day has been on this show. And I believe he listens to the show. Of course he does. Everybody in Columbus listens to the show 3 hours a day, every day. And I think he hears you and I call for the cover. And so he's the opposite of James Franklin, that he's one of those coaches who does know the spread, but he doesn't want to cover it just to make us angry. No, I don't fully believe that, but it does feel like they're always one touchdown away, and then they don't do anything with the fourth quarter. And that's why it's impossible to pick with those huge numbers for Ohio State, because the question isn't can they, it's just will they. They can beat all of these opponents by these margins. They just usually don't because they're already up 35, which is what happened on Saturday.
Yeah.
I think it would be phrased differently for this to be the real truth. So you cannot call them a great team yet. And I don't necessarily know if it's the spread, if that's got anything to do with it. It's the teams that they've played. Now, if they go out there, boat race Michigan, boat race Iowa, like we might expect them to, then I think you could start to say, okay, this team's pretty great. And also, if Ryan Day was an avid listener of this show, who do you think he'd point the middle finger at more, you two or me?
for your maybe, under the spreads?
Maybe you and him are kindred spirits.
Yeah, you see eye to eye on that.
I feel like we're very different in many ways.
Alabama versus Georgia in late September is nuts, but I kind of like it. Is that the real truth?
It is nuts. It is crazy to play these two teams in
4
September.
versus 2.
This is crazy. This is typically something that I'm used to. You play this type of game in early October, late October, early November. These two teams don't traditionally play. I think it's absolutely diabolical that the SEC said not only is Georgia going to play Texas and Alabama going to play Oklahoma, they're going to play each other in year one. And we're going to give it to you in September, in the 5th week of the season. It's diabolical to do that to these teams. It's also crazy like a fox because guess what? If you lose one of these games early in September, guess what's going to be forgotten by November? The fact that you did. So they're going to get monster ratings for this on Saturday night. So that's going to please their television partners in a very big way. So their TV partners gave them Tennessee, Oklahoma in week 1, or they gave their TV partners Tennessee, Oklahoma last week. Then they give them this one this week. They're coming with Georgia and Texas. They're coming with Oklahoma and Texas. Alabama and Georgia and Oklahoma is still coming. It is nuts. It's crazy like a fox. It's a good job out of them. And there's a long con in play here with this because this loss, by the time we get to November, whoever loses it will be forgotten.
The SEC did, I think, pretty clearly sit down and say, well, what can we do scheduling-wise to maximize the amount of teams that we can get into this new 12-team playoff?
No doubt.
I don't know if it was fully necessary for them to get the amount of teams that they are going to get, which looks like it's going to be I think it for sure seems like it's going to be 4. It's just the way it's setting up if you look at the top 10 week to week. These aren't the college football playoff rankings yet, but we know that they go off of this. But, yeah, I am excited to get this game in late September because, no, they don't normally play each other in the regular season, and all of their SEC championships or playoff matchups have been basically instant classics over the last 4 or 5 years. So, no, I'm very excited for this one. And they also gave Georgia, Kentucky the week before. That's what we're talking about when we say Indiana at UCLA does not compare to what the SEC gave their television partners.
This is diabolical. I love this. This is the real truth. And I also think this is the SEC that will take a look come Monday when the numbers come out, or Tuesday. We'll look and say, the price for an extra conference game, well, that just went up.
You're right. You're 100% correct.
And they might just get it.
They might just get it because they're going to deliver this type of stuff. When we heard about a 12-team playoff for the very first time, I remember we said this. We've talked about this so often, guys. It's going to come home to roost. You mentioned 4. I think they could get 5. They are going to say 9-3 greater than 11-1. We played everybody in our league. And these losses are quality losses. Because there's going to be... Think about the quality loss.
Yeah, this
when
game
Georgia has to play Tennessee. Georgia plays Tennessee, Texas, and Alabama in the regular season. They already played Clemson.
if you get your teams ranked early enough, you can write off their losses so much easier. Because if Bama loses this weekend, maybe they go 11-1, and you can just go, yeah, but their losses to Georgia, and that's what they'll do.
I've got to pull up the Georgia schedule. They may play like 6 teams that are ranked in the top 10. We'll get to that. Also, Justin Fields finding renaissance in Pittsburgh. How it's happening and why it's going to continue coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're known for 3 things: games, conversation, and common man yelling about things only he cares about. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Scott from the Cleveland area has coached girls basketball and supported his granddaughter's athletic pursuits.
My granddaughters have worked hard to excel in sports. It's tough enough. So the idea that Sherrod Brown voted to allow transgender biological men to compete in girls' sports, it's unfair and dangerous. And introducing a bill to allow biological men in girls' locker rooms? Biological men to shower in my granddaughter's locker room? No way. I worry about the safety of my family constantly. Now I have to worry about Sherrod Brown's crazy liberal ideas. I thought Sherrod Brown was on my side, but he's way too liberal for me.
Sherrod Brown has let Ohio down. Now he's way too liberal for Ohio. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Connection, opportunity, possibility. It's what we all want. Spectrum has built a world where anything is possible, with products and services designed to work better together for a seamless connectivity experience. A connection to family and friends, a connection to education, and a connection to new opportunities. So there's no limit to how big we can dream. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Order like a champ at Raising Cane's. With tailgates of hand-battered chicken fingers and cane sauce and jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade, you can guarantee victory for every game day meal. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Windows, siding, APCO, absolutely. We don't rely on gimmicks to get customers. We rely on our reputation. APCO is a local, family-owned window and siding company established in 1962.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can trust APCO.
APCO.com.
We have a lot of football happening. I'm here to help. Set your radio preset to The Fan. Very good. Now set a second one to ESPN Columbus. It's the HD2 button. Lastly, go to The Fan's HD3 and save The Fan 3. Crisis averted. You're welcome.
Direct Auto Insurance is for uncompromisers. The people who refuse to make trade-offs in life. Like Kelly, when her old car insurance got so expensive that she couldn't afford to drive anymore, do you think she started carrying her groceries for miles? No. But she did find Direct Auto's savings that allowed her to drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25%, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a quote today at directauto.com. Savings based on applied discounts and will vary. Terms apply. How you buy can affect price. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
Wake up. Breakfast. And Nature Made vitamins. Whatever your morning sounds like, Nature Made fits right in. Whether you're looking for vitamin C, or a multivitamin to get key nutrients, we've got you covered. Now that's a good morning. We take care of you so you can take on your day. Start your day with Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
You can use your phone at a doctor's office. You can use your phone at a football game. You can even use your phone at an amusement park. But one place you should never use your phone is behind the wheel. Fines now start at $150. So remember, Ohio, phones down. It's the law.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Finally, much needed rainfall on the way. We will be looking at a few downpours. There could even be a couple of stronger thunderstorms early this afternoon. Temperatures going 80 today, 81 tomorrow with a few showers, and then Thursday is looking drier. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Producers, co-hosts, friends, some of those things are true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
So it's even worse, or better, I guess, for Georgia. They don't traditionally play Ole Miss either. So their crossover games this year are Ole Miss and Bama from the old SEC West. Remember, no divisional play anymore.
So they're not crossovers.
So they gave them, they used to be traditionally. They don't traditionally play Alabama or Ole Miss in the regular season. They got them playing both of them. So right now, as Georgia's schedule is made, they played 14th ranked Clemson, already beat them. They're at 4th ranked Alabama. Then they go Auburn, Mississippi State. So those are two easy ones. Then at number 1 Texas, Florida and the cocktail party. Then they've got at Ole Miss, number 6 Ole Miss, then versus number 5 Tennessee. So they currently play the 4th, 1st, 5th, and 6th ranked teams in the country in the regular season.
And they're number 2 in the country, too. So they're one of those teams that is in that.
That's right.
I think that the SEC...
By the way, they moved the cocktail party to the first weekend in November.
When is it normally?
It's October.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I'm looking at the standings and seeing all these ranked teams in the SEC, and some of them haven't even played a conference game, so some of them are a little bit lower, but it does feel like they are the league, and we talked about this with the positioning, but almost that they are embracing the idea of cannibalism to a certain degree.
Sure they are.
Not a ton of it, but a little bit. Georgia can win this one. Bama can win this one. Tennessee can beat Oklahoma, but maybe Oklahoma can beat Ole Miss, and Ole Miss can beat Texas. And they kind of want everybody to almost trade them in a round robin way so that they can all stay at 1 or 2 losses, and then they have the argument for them. I think that they would prefer 2 one-loss teams in their championship over even an undefeated, one of them being undefeated.
9-3 is better than 11-1. It's coming.
This is like NBC with his multiple schemes. This is what the SEC is doing.
Schemes of scheming. Fronts. It's a diabolical thing to do, to put Georgia, like that schedule Georgia plays. That's craziness. That is utter absurdity.
Yeah, the point is to give other people good wins and quality losses. I
mean, it's unbelievable amount of that schedule's absolutely crazy out of them. And then to play Clemson too in the non-conference. Now they coast to the end. I mean, they have Georgia Tech, who's a rivalry game, and they got UMass right before Georgia Tech. But when you play the 1st, 4th, 5th, 6th ranked teams in the country and you're 2, and you already got a win over number 14, that's pretty good. Justin Fields has been pretty good in Pittsburgh. They have, I think, resuscitated his NFL career. I think he has... Some of it's timing, like the Russell Wilson injuries and all of those things. Makes me wonder if they could flip Wilson potentially to Miami. I don't see any scenario why they would come off of Justin Fields at this point. They've given him a little bit more every week, and they gave him a lot more in the game over the weekend. Threw his first pick, which was a ball over the middle, but also hit a deep shot. He was around 250 yards, 30-some attempts. So it's starting to come a little bit more every week. They're slowly building him up. And Fields is motivated by this, and this is a heck of an opportunity. It's why this was like the last place as someone who is invested in the Browns and cares about the Bengals. I didn't want him there because I knew he had talent, and I knew that they'd make it right with him. Very happy for him. Thrilled for him to have stability in an organization the way that they have it there. Fields talked a little bit about the start to his season. He acknowledges that he's grown a lot as a quarterback in Pittsburgh.
Just overall, seeing the field, I feel like I'm just very calm out there, cool, calm, and collected on the field, and really just that sense of peace out there on the field, and not really, rushing things internally in my brain. Just staying calm in the pocket and just making plays when I can and just doing my job.
The praise for Fields goes even to a former Steeler, as Ben Roethlisberger on his Footballin' with Ben Roethlisberger podcast commented on what he's seen from Fields.
what I saw today was him taking more chances, throwing the ball.
He did.
Which people, that might have been more of the knocks that people had is, he's just not taking that chance. But like we had talked about, so in the first couple weeks, we saw him get out of the pocket, and there was a guy running deep, and he kind of took the underneath throw, which is nothing wrong. Yeah. Today, it's like he had Pat on the shallow, and he fit in the seam behind it. Like today, it's like he's starting to come out of his shell a little bit.
Okay.
And I thought today was like, okay, if this is the guy that we're gonna get,
you're cool with it.
This might be the guy of the future.
It's definitely good enough for the Steelers, and that's what they were looking for all these years. They were just finding the quarterback that was good enough, and Justin Fields, with the talent he has, maybe that does bloom into more as he has over these first 3 weeks. But it's the first time, because we always focus so much on the offensive weapons that were lacking during his time in Chicago. But we didn't really spend too much time talking about, but he didn't have any defensive support either. He was a possible home run hitter who had bad pitching there in Chicago, and now he's got great pitching on the other side.
To take that analogy, and we were talking about this with Pittsburgh or with Cleveland a little bit, Reese. What Pittsburgh has is identity. This is what we are. We've been this way forever. It changes a little bit based on who the quarterback is, but we're going to play great defense. We're going to get after you. We're going to sack the quarterback. We're going to turn you over, and so they know exactly who they are. And so what I'm seeing with him is him growing amidst that, which is encouraging and makes me happy for him because he's been through hell.
It's a weird place for this Cleveland Browns fan because I wanted to see Justin Fields succeed. I wanted to succeed in Chicago, and I thought it was more than half on the Bears. There's obviously some growing pains on Fields, and maybe that was the thing that he needed to get to where he's at in Pittsburgh. Now, there's a long way to go for him. I think Ben might have been a little over his skis there, saying like this could be the guy for the future. Like, whoa, hey, let's take it. Take a little.
It's just on a 1-year deal, Ben.
Yeah, it's nothing you're ready to say right now, but it's so tough for them, to move off of him because he's winning. And with a locker room like that, if you have Tomlin behind you, you win that locker room. It's a culture unlike any, and it drives me nuts.
It is. Yeah, it's brutal from the Ohio perspective that they have it, but they do. And
are they going to trade Russell Wilson eventually?
Well, that's what I said. Yeah. I do wonder, like, if when he gets healthy, do you flip him to Miami?
Or does Miami go after Flacco?
Well, maybe. Yeah, I don't know what'll happen there. Like, Indy may have to play Flacco just to try to win games because this kid can't win games. So I know they beat Chicago, but, like, he just throws it to the other team.
Think about that. How bad Trevor Lawrence is playing. The other two are Anthony Richardson and Will Levis, and then C.J. Stroud just gets to sit pretty in that division right now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's the thing with Chicago, and, like, you see what's happening with Caleb Williams, and it's not to say he's a bust or anything, but it takes time, and you have to be patient, and it doesn't feel like they were ever, whichever incarnation of the Bears organization was dealing with Fields, they were ever terribly patient or allowing him to grow into a quarterback position. Like, you hope they do that with Caleb Williams, or else he's a broken toy.
You can't skip the steps.
It's also not lost on me that Ben Roethlisberger is kind of like a Browns or Bengals super fan doing a podcast. So Ben Roethlisberger fires up a podcast after the Steelers game and does instant reaction, like he's a gold jacket, and he's like giving instant analysis on his podcast. Like most of the other guys from his ilk are like calling NFL games or they're in studio shows, and he's firing up a podcast, baby. God bless him. God bless him. We'll do a little Tuesdays with DeBerry coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
During this 10-second promo, Rothman will lose money gambling on something.
People like you come here and blow the family nest egg that built this town.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan.
With so much happening every day,
ABC 6 News is on your side, helping you understand the events that impact your community.
Do you believe Columbus City Schools is in a PR crisis?
Central Ohio's most experienced team of reporters, persistent in getting answers to the questions you're asking.
Are you worried about how people are going to react?
And when you need us, ABC 6 News is on your side, finding solutions.
6 on your side, they're the ones willing to answer the phone.
You can count on ABC 6 News to be on your side.
ABC Tonight.
You know how when you're living your life and then all of a sudden you're out there helping cops solve crimes? That's me.
Critics are calling High Potential a fun, slick crime procedural.
I have an IQ of 160. I spot things that detectives miss.
Caitlin Olsen is fantastic with razor-sharp wit and sass.
I think it was murder and a cover-up, but I want to know how you know.
Sounds like a challenge.
It's brilliant television with a blend of humor and mystery.
Got a dead body. Gotta go.
High Potential.
Tonight at 10 on ABC 6.
Looking for your next Subaru? At Buyers Airport Subaru, we give you options from start to finish. Browse and shop entirely online from the comfort of your home at columbussubaru.com or stop by and visit one of our friendly brand specialists just by the airport.
Right now, you can get the all-new 2025 Subaru Forester for 3.9% for up to 48 months.
Whether you prefer to click or come in, we've got you covered. Your journey starts at Buyers Airport Subaru. Come see why it's better to buy at Buyers.
Subject to credit approval. Financing offer term up to 48 months on 2025 Subaru Forester. Cannot be combined with any other incentive. See dealer for details. Offer ends 9/30/24.
Common Man and T-Bone here for the sportsbook, the ESPN Bet Sportsbook inside Hollywood Casino. Yes, they've changed the name.
It is better than ever, but they're still going to have your favorite teams on the biggest screens. You can place your bets, grab some wings and an ice-cold pint, and even hang out with us.
We're going to be there broadcasting live from 3 to 6, Friday, September 27th. And we've got tickets to give away, so come and be with us and hug us.
Must be 21 years or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
If you're obsessed with fantasy sports and gambling things, we have the slightly above average radio show for you. On the Money with Dave Biddle and Scotty Vegas.
Presented by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
Wednesday night at 8 on The Fan.
They come here illegally, crossing our southern border. Then Sherrod Brown rolls out the welcome mat for them here in Ohio. Brown voted to give amnesty to 11 million illegal immigrants, including those convicted of crimes like drunk driving, aggravated assault, and child abuse. And Sherrod Brown voted 10 times to protect sanctuary cities in Ohio, which release dangerous illegals back onto the street, making Ohio's neighborhoods less safe. And while we struggle to make ends meet, Sherrod Brown is voting to give illegals taxpayer-funded benefits, like health care for illegals granted amnesty, Social Security, COVID relief checks, even a program to fly Haitian migrants into Ohio airports, all paid for by you, the taxpayer. You think you know Sherrod Brown? Well, after 31 years in Washington, Sherrod Brown's way too liberal for Ohio. American Crossroads paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. AmericanCrossroads.org.
Attention Ohio pizza restaurant owners. Tired of glitchy point-of-sale systems slowing you down? Meet Hunger Rush, Ohio's favorite pizza POS. With reliable hardware, an easy-to-use system, and 24/7 customer support, Hunger Rush speeds up your operations and boosts repeat orders by up to 10%. This is the restaurant point-of-sale built for pizza. Easily manage your drivers, easily take orders online, easily train your staff in minutes, and easily make modifications. Need to talk to a real person? That's easy too. Top Ohio pizzerias are winning with Hunger Rush. Solutions to help you streamline service, optimize workflows, and maximize profits. Join the thousands of successful restaurants transforming their operations with Hunger Rush for $0 down and $0 a month. Tools for menu management, marketing, customer engagement, and increased upsells, all in one simple platform. That's Hunger Rush, Ohio's favorite pizza POS. Schedule your free no-obligation demo at ohiopos.com. ohiopos.com. ohiopos.com.
Common Man here for Universal Windows Direct. Fall is here. It's the perfect time to replace those old drafty windows before the cold sets in. As temperatures drop, you don't want to be stuck with windows that make your heating system work overtime because that will cost you money. My guys at Universal Windows Direct back everything up with a true lifetime warranty as long as you own the home and a 20-year warranty to the next homeowner. Plus 0% financing for 60 months. Restrictions apply because they always do. Call them today, 614-502-5220 or go to uwd.com.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Bishop and Friends present Tuesdays with Tiberi.
Sponsored by Sears Heating and Cooling. Family owned since 1950.
All right, it's a Tuesday. It's 10:30. We check in with Uncle Dom on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Let me ask you this. Is this the toughest September in terms of trying to make sense of what this Buckeye football team is, Dommy? We know they're really talented, but these opponents have just not been up to snuff. You got a bye week in there as well. It's just we just need to play somebody real, don't we?
Well, it's going to happen this week, but you're right. It's been weird the way this schedule is shaken out. I will say this. They've beaten the teams like you would expect them to. And so I think that's a good thing. The one thing I'm most optimistic about is I look at what we're witnessing. And you look back to when Jim Tressel was here and won his national championship. You look at what Urban Meyer did when he won his national championship. And the one thing that kind of always stood out to me. Yeah, they threw the ball and whatever, but they had exceptional running games, Bo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you think back what Maurice Clarett did as a freshman running that football. He was a power back, and he carried that team in a lot of ways. And you remember what he did in that national title game. And then I look at what Zeke Elliott did over those 3 games, starting with the Wisconsin game, and then looking what he did in that great win over Alabama, and then the way they embarrassed Oregon in the national title game. And I think about the way that they ran the ball, and I see that now with this two-headed monster. I mean, I'm telling you what, the fact that they are running the ball, and the O-line, Bo, you and I could have got through a couple of those holes.
They did well.
Oh, yeah, my. And what a lot of people thought was going to maybe be a weakness, and, about the O-line, let's see. It's 3 games down, and, yeah, it's Akron, and it's Western Michigan, and it's Marshall, but they dominated them on the offensive line, and I like that. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, I think, what I thought about this watching the game on Saturday from the Chip Kelly perspective, and you and I were out at the Rose Bowl when we played them in the Rose Bowl, and Chip was coaching that Oregon team, and you think about how well they ran the football and how much he loved just running the football. This is a kid in a candy store, man.
Oh,
I mean, we haven't even seen Will Howard run it yet. Like, those 2 backs are and Peoples is good too. They're just so dynamic in the backfield. I think it's the best, most talented backfield maybe that's ever been around here in terms of guys all being the same age. We've had ones where, Carlos Hyde and Zeke and some Eddie backfields, but like in terms of like 1, 2, 3, I don't know if we've ever had this type of stable before.
And I think it's funny because I've been saying ever since Chip came here, and I know some of Buckeye Nation, oh, they play soft. Chip doesn't like to run the ball. It's going to be. I said, you have no idea what you're talking about. Chip Kelly wants to run the football. You know who loved Chip Kelly was Urban Meyer, because, those 2 guys had a lot of the same kind of ideas. Power football. And that's what you're getting, a full dose of power football. And, I think we are going to experience. I'm hoping that they go. And let me just say this: I don't particularly care for Michigan State. I never have. Just some of the pain they have caused to Ohio State over the years, going back to Woody Hayes.
Yeah,
and going back to John Cooper and some of the things.
Oof. And Urban too, Dom.
Seeing Urban after the Big Ten title game, sitting on that golf cart, eating that pizza, looking so sad. And then 2015, when maybe the best team in the country did not get in because of losing to that, and Urban lost his way in that game. Remember, Zeke called him out because he didn't run the foot. If you can run the football, good things are going to happen, and I think good things are going. And I will just say this because I'm a little neurotic right now. I'm sorry, I'm a little wound up.
Yeah,
and then I've been walking around the station, and everyone, because you're either a Browns or Bengals fan here, and I root for both of them.
Yeah,
and the conspiracy theories are already out, and the craziness that's going. Well, they're trying to get.
You're really fired up today. This is just a Tuesday at 10:30. You got a lot of day left.
Well, I'm in the building, and I came in and I saw Chops, and he was doing push-ups in here, and took his shirt off and was flexing. And he was showing me the boys, and I'm like,
the boys?
Yeah, he can make them talk to you when he makes the pecs can move. Have you ever seen that?
No. And I don't want to.
Here.
I have no interest in that.
Now we're on YouTube. Take your shirt off.
Yeah, you can see it right here on the YouTube, everybody. I'll pop my shirt out for the next segment.
Yeah, he just all
What are the conspiracy theories that are going around in the building? Let's hash this out.
Well, one of them I heard is they're trying to get they don't like Deshaun. The O-line does not like Deshaun.
Okay.
And they're purposely not blocking for him. And they're trying to get him hurt because they don't. Oh, that makes sense.
Sure.
I mean, look. I don't know if Deshaun's got it or not, Bo. I think
you do.
I think I do, but I don't know if he's got it or not. But I do know this. We witnessed a public mugging on Sunday.
Yeah.
That dude was sacked 8 times. It should have been 10 or 12. He did get away from a couple. I don't know if he's holding the ball too long. I just know that I see a lot of Olay blocks out there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of Olay blocks.
Yeah, I mean, they're so banged up on the offensive front, too, that they lost 3 more offensive linemen in the game on Sunday.
I mean, it's unbelievable. And then the Bengals, hey.
Well, they can't play defense, bud.
How about this? How about if we take the Bengals offense
Well, now you win in the Super Bowl.
And then we take the Browns defense and we put those two units together and we create one team.
Just put Burrow on the Browns. You don't have to do all the rest of that stuff.
How about if CJ was how about if we get CJ, say, listen, here's the deal. We work this deal. We're going to send you Deshaun back. How about if we get CJ now? What would that cost?
Let me ask you this. Have you been to a hardware store or a Costco here in the last one of those type of places?
I was just in Costco the other day. I was just in there.
Did you see these giant werewolf statues?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
This is terrifying stuff. Yeah. I took the boys in. Like, don't take the grandbabies.
Yeah.
Dummy. Don't take them in there.
Well, you know where I made the mistake of taking the grandbabies?
Where?
Spirit Halloween. Have you?
Oh, God. You can't do that.
I went in there.
What are you doing?
I went in there and
what the hell are you doing?
I'm going, what in the name of God is this place? It was like I was going in. It was like I went into like, holy smoke, Halloween, it's crazy. And Gio kept saying, hey, Papa Dom, can we go? They call me Papa Dom. Papa Dom, can we go in there? And I go, all right, Gio, we'll go in there. And he goes, I want to get he wants to be Sonic for Halloween. And we go in.
Perfect.
And I'm thinking we'll go in. And I mean, I think I'm walking into this like, I thought we were back in New Orleans with the voodoo people.
Oh, dude.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? They got these werewolves. They got this one guy. It's like it's a game, like a claw game.
Okay.
And so I hit the button, and it scared the hell out of me. All of a sudden, and I'm going, oh, look at this is cool. And then all of a sudden, this monster jumps out of the thing. I mean, they're very lively now.
When I was a kid, and when your girls and when the scary stuff was in the back of the Halloween store.
Yeah.
You could walk into the store.
Not anymore.
Now it's front and center. And I was at one of the box stores last weekend. They got like 15-foot monsters.
Yeah.
Like the skeletons are bad enough. Like, fine. Now they have these monsters that are like 15 feet tall, Donnie.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? They've had them out since after the
August.
4th of July. They had them.
When did Thanksgiving? I think that Thanksgiving, and I don't particularly love Thanksgiving. I think the food's a little overrated. But when did Halloween usurp Thanksgiving as the fall holiday of record?
Well,
like when I was a kid, it was just Halloween night. That's it. There was no lead up to it.
You got to understand, there's money in turkey, but there's more money in buying monsters and all the stuff they're selling. It's all about money. Yeah. And while Thanksgiving's a food holiday,
yeah.
Look at what you're buying. And have you seen the price of candy now?
Yeah, it's outrageous.
I mean, it's insane. And so the candy, and then all these dadgum zombie things that you're putting. I walked into Lowe's the other day. That was a haunted house. I'm going,
it is.
Holy smokes! And when did it all become that?
Do the grandbabies watch Bluey?
Yeah, they like Bluey.
Love Bluey.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Bluey. So I walked in there with Bootsy, who's 8, and he was like, oh boy, like taken aback by all of that. And then on a top shelf, like 50 feet in the ceiling on a shelf, was Bluey. And Bootsy goes, oh, it's Bluey. And I had to buy the thing because I just felt bad for Bluey being amidst all these monsters.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got to get that sorted out.
Bluey's a nice guy. We also
It's a girl, but yeah.
Is it a girl? I don't know. How the hell do I know?
It's Bingo and Bluey are sisters.
Okay,
and then
great.
you got the papa, who they call Big Fella, and then the mom. That's the operation.
Here's what we get: Peppa Pig. We get a lot of Peppa Pig.
Yeah,
we do a lot of the Paw Patrol, and gosh darn, those dogs, they're some smart dogs, because when there's any issue, they're going to do. And that mayor from the other city, that guy someone needs to go straighten him out.
He's getting loose.
And then the other one, SpongeBob. Now, I do enjoy SpongeBob.
Well,
I do like it. I mean, he's and is there a dumber guy than Patrick Starr? Have you seen him?
Maybe not.
But you know who he is?
I mean, I'm on social media, so I think there probably are people dumber, but it's a short list.
But do you know who Patrick Starr is in real life?
No.
Do you remember? You remember the show Coach?
Well, of course.
You remember Dauber?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's who I think.
You think that's the voice?
I think that is the voice of Patrick Starr. Am I right?
I don't remember him on Coach, but he does play father in How I Met Your Mother for Marshall's character, so that makes sense. Yeah.
It is, it's Dauber from Coach.
Yeah, he's got a super distinct voice. Yeah.
Oh, my God. You want to talk about a crazy career. He was also on Oz.
Yeah, and now
the prison show on HBO. Good Lord.
Oz was another good show.
And he's made more money being Patrick tenfold, probably.
I think probably true. Yeah. Oz a little rapey, Dommy. Little rapey. A lot going on there.
What is what?
Oz was a little rapey. Remember that?
Well,
not a bad.
Yeah, that one dude that does all those commercials. He was the bad guy in it. Remember?
He's not good.
He was not a good guy.
I don't need to revisit that at all.
No.
Good talking to you.
Yeah. Hey. Well. Tell everyone in Cleveland that I'm thinking of them.
Well, I don't. That'll make everything better.
Yeah, just tell
everybody.
Tell them if I could cook them spaghetti, I would make it. A meatball would make everything better.
What are you gonna do with the Bengals defense? You got to sort that too. You got to do.
God. I don't. Maybe there's a conspiracy theory.
Pasta fajoule.
I don't know if you've noticed. There are a lot of conspiracy theories today. A lot.
I love that. There's nothing I like more than life than you walking around the building sussing out conspiracy theory.
They're trying to get the guy hurt. They're trying to get him hurt. I'm telling you, that's what's going on. They've refused to block for him.
I'll talk to you next week.
Goodbye.
All right. Thing or not a thing, up next, Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The sound of Paul Keels calling a Buckeye game is erotic.
Oh, yes.
Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Scott from the Cleveland area has coached girls basketball and supported his granddaughter's athletic pursuits.
My granddaughters have worked hard to excel in sports. It's tough enough. So the idea that Sherrod Brown voted to allow transgender biological men to compete in girls' sports, it's unfair and dangerous. And introducing a bill to allow biological men in girls' locker rooms? Biological men to shower in my granddaughter's locker room? No way. I worry about the safety of my family constantly. Now I have to worry about Sherrod Brown's crazy liberal ideas. I thought Sherrod Brown was on my side, but he's way too liberal for me.
Sherrod Brown has let Ohio down. Now he's way too liberal for Ohio. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Common Man here for Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. Fall is here. It's still warm and dry and everything's brown. But yay, fall. Maybe after your summer road trips, you've realized your vehicle sucks. My friends at Jermaine Lexus want to help. Right now, they have special APRs as low as 2.99% on their most popular models like the ES and RX, or lease payments starting as low as $4.99 a month. My friends at Jermaine are the best in the business. If you're in the market, please stop in. 2 locations to serve you, Dublin and Easton, JermaineLexus.com.
Ben Sadler, Assistant Vice President, Commercial Lending, on what makes First Bank of Central Ohio successful.
What we do as a community bank is really, listening to, that company, finding the solutions that best need their business and is not just a universal product that you could get anywhere else.
Experience what it's like to be first at First Bank of Central Ohio. Visit fbcentralohio.com for more details. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Morning Juice.
There's something nice being about going to a game where the outcome's predetermined. A little bit less stressful, and you can celebrate, cheer, you can have fun.
Morning Juice.
Sponsored by Affinity Whole Health.
Weekday mornings at 6. The Fan.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals with savings beyond low prices. Like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you can get
naked. I just stopped.
Savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Save big on 12 packs of Coca-Cola.
What are you doing?
Select varieties are just $4.99 each with your card and digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Get Eco.
Hey, Aaron. Hey, Jerry. Have we spent enough time telling homeowners how much the name Eco can actually mean?
Well, I did name the company that, so yes.
I mean explaining that Eco can stand for how much better we can make your plumbing, ecologically speaking.
Get Eco.
A tankless water heater, for example. Switching to tankless means your family has unlimited hot water. Shower after shower after shower, without having to use precious electricity to keep a big tank of water hot 24 hours a day. It's ecological.
Pretty good wordplay for a guy that almost failed English, don't you think?
Get Eco.
I think if more people knew they could help the planet just by taking a shower, I think we might be onto something.
That's not quite as ecological as the first thing you said, but okay.
You know, I'm working on inventing a new kind of junk mail that throws itself away.
And the planet thanks you, Jerry.
Get Eco.
Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
Sonic Temple Art and Music Festival returns for its biggest year yet. For the first time with Metallica. 2 nights, 2 different set lists, no repeat weekend. Plus exclusive Metallica experiences. With Rob Zombie, Alice in Chains, and over 100 more bands to be announced. 4 days, May 8th to the 11th at historic Crew Stadium in Columbus, Ohio. Select passes on sale Wednesday, September 25th at SonicTempleFestival.com.
It's almost Football Friday. All play and no work.
Sponsored by Tansky's Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for football, The Fan. The uncle you never knew you had. The friends you kind of wish you didn't. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing on a Tuesday. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Apex Plumbing Pros.
First one up today, Pete Thamel had this. Utah State has accepted an invitation to join the Pac-12 and become the newly formatted conference's 7th member, sources told ESPN on Monday night, although it has not been officially announced by the conference. The move comes amid a dizzying day of realignment that saw the Pac-12's interest in a handful of AAC schools, Memphis, Tulane, USF, and UTSA, specifically get rebuffed. The Mountain West expected to retain a commitment from key member Air Force, and UNLV's decision become uncertain after its commitment to the Mountain West earlier in the day was not formalized. Lots of teams, lots of movement. Utah State's reported acceptance would make it the 5th school from the Mountain West to join Oregon State and Washington State in rebuilding the Pac-12. Utah State would join Boise State, Fresno State, San Diego State, and Colorado State, who have announced they are going to the league. But again, you need 8 to get to that full league status, and they are only at 7 still. Thing or not a thing?
Well, here's the deal. There is nothing that is happening here that is going to get them into what used to be the Power 5. So what they are creating is a group of 5 conference or 6 or whatever it is now. That's what they're creating. They're not creating a Power 5. They're creating a place for them to play nice and have teams and stay viable in some way.
AQ spot, yeah.
They're basically trying to do that. They're basically going to try to replace the Mountain West, and it's just the brand. They would have been better off just the Mountain West absorbing Oregon State and Washington State and just relabeling itself the Pac-12.
Would have been cleaner, too.
Should have just done that. That's easier. And quite honestly, this conference makes a lot more sense for a group of 5, which is what it is, than if they would have added Memphis, Tulane, USF, and UTSA. Who thinks that anyone wants to watch Memphis play football?
They're
Tulane.
Good. Yeah, they're good.
Or USF.
But
they don't rate.
Yeah, they don't do anything.
None of these rate.
I wonder with this, because I think you're right. Like, it would have just been the Mountain West, a better brand, but you have I think the ego still with Oregon State, and it's pride, I guess is the better word for Oregon State and Washington State, saying, no, Pac-12 will remain. Pac-12 will live on, despite everybody else being like, just let it go, dude, if that would bring Cal and Stanford back into the fold. And, like, maybe that's their end game here. If they can just get to 8 or 9 and then bring Stanford and Cal back or bring anybody else back into the fold from the initial Pac-12, they can make their... And, again, I'm strictly speaking from maybe this is what they're thinking, that if they can do that, they can put themselves back into Power 5 designation, and a lot of it to do with what Stanford brings in like their AAU thing.
Yeah, I don't.
But this really isn't a thing.
Well, the main factor too will be like, what will the Pac-12? Do they have enough teams now to string together at least like the skeleton and working draft of a deal? Because they are saying, according to the Thamel's article, that $12 million annually is what they're expecting for each school from their media deal, which is way up from the $4 million that you get from the media deal. It's between 4 and 6 for all the Mountain West schools.
$12 million a team?
They're expecting $12 million. If they can prove that, then they'll have people jumping from some of those other conferences.
NBC is expecting that he can rizz up Tate McRae. It doesn't mean it's possible.
No, I agree.
You got to have goals, lofty ones.
This is not...
Where is that number?
Million
Where did they come up with that number? I don't know.
That's so arbitrary. There's no scenario where so that $12 million a team per year.
Why would they pay $4 to $6 million for all the other group of 5s in your conference?
There's nothing in this league. No. I don't see it. They would have been better off just
the Mountain West absorbing the Washington State and Oregon State and then relabeling themselves the Pac-12. That would have been better off.
Could have done Pac-West, too. At least just keep the Pac name, because the 8, 9, and 8, 10, 12, it's changed all the time.
There is a Pac-West. It's a Division II conference. Yeah.
The 49ers lost to the Rams 27-24 on Sunday. I think we were all pretty surprised by that. On Monday, it was announced defensive tackle Javon Hargrave suffered a partially torn right triceps that's going to require surgery, likely ending his season. Also, Brock Purdy came out of the game with back soreness. An MRI came back clean, but he'll be day-to-day. I mean, aren't we all, according to Kyle Shanahan. Christian McCaffrey was placed on injured reserve back on September 14th due to Achilles tendonitis. And over the weekend, he flew to Germany to visit with a specialist.
Always a good sign.
Kyle Shanahan told reporters, quote, "I'm not sure what doctor it is. I know he's going to see a specialist that he believes can help him with his Achilles process, and I think he's doing that over these next few days. Hopefully it will help," end quote. The earliest McCaffrey could return would be October 10th at the Seahawks, though Shanahan has said, quote, "Nobody knows when he will actually be back because of the unpredictable nature of said injury." Thing or not a thing?
Well, all of this is a huge thing for a team that I picked to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl, and I think a lot of people probably did. Makes me think maybe they missed their window a little bit because the Hargrave injury is enormous. He's critical to what they do up front, so that's huge. The Purdy thing, he'll probably be fine, and he's sensational. Like he should get the credit he deserves as a top 5 or 6 quarterback in the league. The big one is McCaffrey. So Germany, is that horse placenta or blood spinning?
I don't know, but it's
one
obviously
of them's horse placenta,
yeah,
and one of them is blood spinning. I think
what about
Germany
both?
Could be both, because Kobe did this. Mm-hmm. Kobe went to Germany and did this, and I think it's the blood spinning where they do the platelet stuff. And then they inject it. I think that's what it is.
Yeah. And it has to be
that's
something
the most concerning, though. That's why this is really a thing, is because first of all, it's a thing for them because he's their best player. It's also a thing because most people picked him number 1 in their fantasy league, including this guy. So that's the thing where it's a big problem, is the McCaffrey injury.
So it is the blood spinning. Reginokein therapy is what it's called. And I might have just botched it, but I said it with confidence, so it's fine. It remains unproven by the FDA. Kobe Bryant did it. Alex Rodriguez did it.
Yeah. Okay, so unproven, so no doctor here will do it. But I don't know if that means it's illegal. So maybe you could find somebody. But when I first read this, I was like, well, it has to be something super specific, because how can you be living in California, the San Francisco Bay Area, and not find a doctor? That's like, all the great doctors moved to California. Like, there has to be. That's where Aaron Rodgers went to go get his Achilles reconstructed.
Yeah, shoulders over there. Yeah, everybody goes there.
So not a good sign that he's going to this. But if it works, then I guess it works. But injuries mounting for the 49ers. And they're in that 1-2 hole. Now, they had a similar thing last year. Remember, they lost to the Bengals and the Browns, and it didn't look so great, and then it turned on. So maybe they're there. But I do think McCaffrey is important to that engine. So he's the most important injury.
They just might be snake bit this year. Just might be that type of year for them. We'll blitz the NFL coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Common Man has spent the past 18 years telling you how much he hates people. And yes, that probably means you, too. Common Man and T-Bone.
Weekdays at 3.
The Fan.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman. The fall deals at Germain Honda of Dublin are beautiful. The 24 Civic LX, only $249 a month for 36 months. The 24 Accord LX, only $279 a month for 36 months. With 10,000 miles a year on the lease, $34.99 cash cap reduction, payments plus tax, tag, and document fee, and away you go. How about 0.9% up to 36 months on the 24 Prologue, the first all-electric SUV from Honda. For the best deal in town, Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road.
First down! Oh, what? Just cleared that drain last week.
Well, clearly that didn't work. Would you please just call the waterworks?
At the Waterworks, we mean clean. We'll get your drains good as new on the first down. And as for him, well, there's always the Buckeyes. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results.
Pop quiz. What's the best way to go back to school? With Giant Eagle and Market District, of course. From lunchbox favorites to fun after-school snacks, they make it easy to care for growing minds and stomachs. And with their Deals for School Days program, you'll enjoy savings on thousands of items throughout the store. But don't wait. Featured items are only available at these low prices for a limited time. So stop in and stock up for the ultimate back-to-school pantry. Visit your local Giant Eagle or Market District today.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If you need a new roof, but you're not sure you can afford it, no problem. Right now, Able Roof is offering no payments, no interest until 2026 for qualified buyers.
Yep, that's the same Able Roof that's been voted the #1 roofing company in Columbus by Consumer Choice Awards 22 years in a row. Want more? Able Roof will give you up to $1,000 off a new roof, siding, or windows. This is a limited time offer, so call Able Roof today.
Call Able for the proof. 444-ROOF.
Navigating mental health insurance benefits can be overwhelming, but you don't have to do it alone. The Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office is here to guide you. Our expert team will help you connect with your health insurance plan to understand available behavioral health benefits. Say goodbye to frustration and hello to control over your mental well-being. Call 855-438-6442 today.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
At the Home Depot, we know you can't control everything, like when your guests arrive too early for Saturday college football. But you can control your grill with the Traeger Timberline X. From the game, not the grill. Monitor your football feast from anywhere using the Traeger app. With the Timberline XL, you can bake, smoke, sear, fry, and saute. That's Desmond Howard level versatility.
Huddle up, the food's done.
Defend your game time with Traeger and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Number 3 Ohio State opens Big Ten play on Saturday. The 3-0 Buckeyes are at Michigan State. That game's got a new kickoff time of 7:30. It'll be streamed on Peacock, but you can hear it right here on The Fan with network pregame coverage starting Saturday night at 6 o'clock. Hear from Ohio State's Ryan Day today at noon. We'll have his weekly press conference on The Fan when he hits the podium. Coach Day will also join Skip Mossick, Paul Keels, and Jim Lachey tonight at 6:30 on a Tuesday edition of Buckeye Roundtable. In the NFL, the Bengals fell to 0-3 last night after a 38-33 loss to the Commanders. They also lost left tackle Trent Brown to a knee injury. That's reportedly a season-ending one. Cincinnati's at Carolina Sunday at 1. In football tonight, the Crew hosts Liga MX champ Club America in the Campeones Cup at 7:30. This update is sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. Earn a $300 cash bonus at BMI when you open a new free checking account. Visit bmifcu.org/free.
Find us on YouTube. Search WBNS Radio and you can see what Bo looks like. But only if you subscribe. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, final hour here on a Tuesday edition of the program. Before we blitz the NFL, probably one of the more remarkable things that I've ever seen in sport happened in Atlanta on Sunday. The owner of the Atlanta Falcons honored himself in the Ring of Honor. That happened. Arthur Blank owns the Atlanta Falcons, and he inducted himself in the Ring of Honor and did so in a manner of which he was honored by the honor, which he ordered.
Also,
that happened.
What accolades did they list for him? They
built the building.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They made a Super Bowl, but they didn't win a Super Bowl.
But let's not lose the fact that he ordered his own honoring.
Closest I can think to that is when Barry Alvarez became the athletic director at Wisconsin and then got his statue. But I think that was at least said to be kept out of his hands and not his decision, but that's about as close as it gets.
It's the craziest thing. And then NBC was acting like, oh, yeah, you got to order Arthur Blank, man. You got to get him in the Ring of Honor. And it's like, well, wait a second. He ordered it.
I thought you were talking about your son for a second. Like, he has this big Arthur Blank thing that NBC was like, oh, we got to get him in the...
him in the Ring of Honor.
Bo Bishop is in the Bishop and Friends Ring of Honor.
Yeah. Me like going, all right, it's time. Let's honor me. It's time to honor me. I mean, God, what
He was my player who impressed, by the way, so I got to find another one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Anytime you can honor yourself, you just have to do it, though.
I just think I had it deserved more than just a quick hitter like that. That needed to be acknowledged in a much bigger way because I've never seen anything like that. Of like, I'm honoring my organization, which I own, to honor me in a public fashion at halftime of a game.
And the Employee of the Year
it's like an episode of Curb.
Me.
There was an episode of Curb where, oh my God, who was his name? Where he did his own funeral so he could hear people talk nicely about him. It was a little bit like that. Like it was that type of thing. All right, let's blitz the NFL.
Bishop and Friends present NFL Blitz.
Well, listen, if you're going to take all the roses when it's going good, you got to be able to take the punches in the gut when it's going bad. Historically great last year against the number. Historically awful this year so far against the number. Just 4-12 out of me this week. 8 games under 500 on the year. You got them both last night, Reese?
Well, I had the Bengals winning by 7, but the half a point gave me the win.
Wow.
Have your cake and eat it too pick, cashing in.
It works, right? 2-1 for the Buckeyes.
Point, which one gave you the win?
It was the Bengals. We picked them at 7.5. And so I said the Bengals will win by a touchdown, but the Commanders will cover.
Oh, my God.
So I had on my bet slip Washington plus the 7.5.
The half point gotcha. Good job out of you. So you went 7-9, which is a down week for you, but still 29-19 overall. Good job out of you. I believe I had that. Let's start with you, Reese. What did you have?
Well, it's not for the reason that played out Sunday, but I said Zach Zinter would be a hell of a pick for the Cleveland Browns because his ability to play multiple positions on the interior of the offensive line is really good late in that game for Cleveland. At least I thought from a rookie's perspective. If the season keeps going the way it does for the Browns and offensive linemen, you could see starting left tackle Zach Zinter.
Fish letting me know it was Albert Brooks who did the living funeral. That's right. Of course it was Albert Brooks. Yeah.
Like you guys, I don't feel like I had a lot right. Now, mine isn't based in numbers. I didn't actually do the picks with you, but I went with the Jets are better than the Patriots. I thought that going into Thursday night, and they took care of it. I know that was a long time ago. And I think you can also just have a standing appointment for, I think I had that. Will Levis is going to make one bonehead play a game.
Oh, my God.
It's crazy. It's every game. It is like clockwork.
Nuts. It's crazy what he does. Like, he's not playable. You can't coach that out of him.
Maybe James Franklin was right.
Oh, my gosh. It's absolutely wild what he does with the football. I believe I've been on this for a while, and this is about the only thing I've gotten right in the league, is that Matt LaFleur can coach it. He can flat out coach it. Malik Willis was on the scrap heap. Most people said at the start of the season it was the worst backup quarterback situation in the league was Green Bay's behind Jordan Love. And when Jordan Love went out, everybody went, oh, my God. How are they even going to stay above water? They haven't lost. And Malik Willis has been outstanding at doing exactly what is asked. Here are his 2 games, 12 of 14, 122 and a touchdown. Last week at Tennessee, who gave up on him for Levis, 13 of 19 for 202 and a touchdown. That is coaching. That's getting it done. Good job out of LaFleur. What didn't you have, Reese?
I didn't have after week 3, the Browns and Bengals would be a combined 1-5.
Brutal.
That's
just brutal.
Not great.
No, not great, and we've got a last season in front of us. Specifically, the Vikings beating the Texans the way they did. It was 34-17, but it wasn't even that close. Sam Darnold went out in the second half. It sounds like he's going to be healthy, which is good news because that's what I really didn't have. I thought the Vikings were possibly even destined for 4th place. Now, the NFC North is as good as we thought. It just turns out the Vikings are also good, and that's what I didn't have. So that's going to be a tremendous division this whole year.
Oh, you want to know what I didn't have? These are 5 of the biggest lines of last week. Cleveland minus 6.5, Tampa Bay minus 6.5, Las Vegas minus 5.5, San Francisco minus 7, and Cincinnati minus 7.5. In some instances, none of those covered. All of them lost, and in some instances to historically bad teams. Like if you had Denver going into Tampa Bay and housing the Bucks, get out of here. Stop it. The Raiders getting housed at home by Carolina and Andy Dalton. The Browns getting housed by the Giants. San Francisco up 14-0 and losing, not only not covering, losing to the Rams. And Joe Burrow and the Bengals at 0-2 in a must-win, losing at home to Washington. So, yeah, it was a tough week. Player who impressed the most, Reese?
Jaden Daniels was a lot of fun to to watch last night. Like, he had 3 touchdowns, 1 on the ground. That ball he throws to Terry McLaurin in the fourth quarter was nice. And Terry McLaurin, I think Beam was saying that this morning, that was the 11th different quarterback he's taken a touchdown pass from.
That's he's finally
scary.
Got a good one. Yeah.
The Eagles have been a little shaky to end last year and even to start this year, but they get a nice win at the Saints, who were playing well at the start of the season. And now they've added to the running back room to have a full-on star there as well. So their offense seems to still just work on virtue of they're all really talented, and that's where I get to Saquon Barkley. 17 carries, 147 yards, and 2 touchdowns versus the Saints. He also had that great game in week 1 for them. So that acquisition has really worked out for the Eagles, but can they get it all together and get back to playing at their top level?
Jaden Daniels certainly would probably win this award if you were going to give it out for the sake of originality. I'm going to go Malik Neighbors because I saw him in person on Sunday. Sensational. Utterly sensational and terrifying. And just, there were people in the draft process that said he's better than Marv. And I was like, come on, what are we talking about? You watch him in person, though, there is a gear that he has that I don't know if Marv all the way has. He's nuts. He's thrown up, and he'll go get it unless it's Denzel Ward, and that's the only way that he was slowed down at all in the game on Sunday. Player disappointed the most, Reese?
Martin Emerson. There's the play where Neighbors mosses him, and I just go, knock the ball out, dude. I texted a mutual friend of all of ours who played in the league. He was a former Buckeye. I think he single-handedly took down Alabama. No names, please. And I asked him, in those situations, what are you coached to do? And he texted back, make the play. And I'm like, that's horribly vague for a situation like that. Because if he knocks the ball down, he doesn't get mossed. But he went for the pick, and Neighbors, the immensely more talented football player, and that was just...
Yeah, Emerson was really good last year, but he's really good against big straight line route runners. And they had him, a lot of times the Giants smartly put Neighbors up on Emerson, and Emerson just did not have the twitch to handle him.
I put down a Baker Mayfield, 25 of 33, so okay on the completion percentage, but 33 attempts for just 163 yards. He does have their 1 touchdown against the Broncos, but also throws a pick. Bucs lost 26-7. Baker, you're out there giving advice to Bryce Young during the week about keep your head up, it can get better for you, and then you go out and lose to the Broncos at home. Not good.
I'm going to give it to the entire Browns offense. Despite how badly you played for 3 quarters, you had the ball 3 times around midfield in the fourth quarter. A drive wins it, and you could not put a drive together. That is abject failure. That is, good teams steal that win. They're not a good team. Honestly, right now they're a pretty bad team. But that was pretty brutal to have those opportunities. Bud Kilmer, honorary coach of the week. Reese, who do you
Till
got?
they lose, it's Mike Tomlin. Damn it. As a Browns fan, it drives me absolutely nuts. But they kick, 7 field goals week 1, something similar week 2, and then this past Sunday, they're able to handle one of the best probably pass rushers in the league. I think Jim Harbaugh might have been my second because he made a smart business decision putting away Justin Herbert because, boy, it was Taylor Heineke getting killed by that Steelers pass rush.
I had totally forgotten that Cliff Kingsbury had taken the offensive coordinator job with the Commanders until last night, and I saw what their offense was able to do. I saw what Daniels was able to do under center for them, and I agree with you, Bo, that maybe he is just a really good offensive mind, and he was probably miscast as a head coach even back to his days at Texas Tech, and would have been much better off in his career path had he just stayed at USC as that offensive coordinator when he got that job, probably.
Yeah.
But he made a lot of money in Arizona, so.
Yes, you did. Yes, he did. He had a great house, too. I'm going to go Kevin O'Connell here. I was up in Cleveland when they were with the Browns for joint practices, and on the day that they got the news that J.J. McCarthy was going to be shut down for the year, and there was not a single hesitation of we'll be fine. McCarthy was going to start the season, and what he's done with Darnold, Addison has not played, Jefferson's been banged up, hasn't mattered. Darnold's been great. Their offense has been good. They whipped Houston, guys. Whipped them over the weekend, and they're undefeated. They deserve it. Top 3 teams right now. Who do you got, Reese?
Bills, Chiefs, and Vikings.
I have the exact same 3, the exact same order.
Same. Yeah, I have the same as well.
It's hard to not go with those 3 right now.
Yeah, you have to. Super Bowl?
I don't know if the Vikings are going to be there at the end. I'm pretty sure the Bills are going to be.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with that's what's in there, Bills and Vikings.
Yeah, I think you have to do it. I'll do it in the moment, Bills and Vikings. But you have to, I also would say, like, until Mahomes gets beat in the postseason, I'm not picking against him in those situations. But the Bills have been absolutely lights out. There were 6 teams in the NFL who have started this year 1-2 or worst. Who is least likely to get it turned around? Who's most likely to get it turned around? We'll get into that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Direct auto insurance is for uncompromisers. Like Matt. When his old car insurance got so expensive, do you think he walked until his sneakers wore out? No, because he found savings with Direct Auto so he could drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25% on state minimum coverage, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a free quote at directauto.com or a store near you. Savings vary, terms apply. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
Look what we have here. It's the refreshing deliciousness of a Pepsi mini can. It's the perfect complement to any meal. The dash of indulgence your day was dreaming of. The sip that'll have you singing Pepsi.
Nope, not again, Steve. Let's take a cue from the Pepsi mini can and pack all that awesomeness you're feeling into a much smaller treat for everyone. Deal?
So, big awesomeness, smaller size. I think I've got just the thing.
Pepsi mini can. Mini can, big taste.
We are Ortho Alliance. Together, we deliver the most experienced orthopedic care near you and throughout Central Ohio. Together, we provide expert care when you need it with same-day and next-day appointments. We put our patients' care first, from physical therapy to the most challenging joint replacement surgeries. We are JIS Orthopedics, Ortho Neuro, Orthopedic Associates of Zanesville, Orthopedic Foot and Ankle Center, and Orthopedic Specialists in Sports Medicine. And we are better together. Visit orthoalliance.com or call 877-WE-ARE-OA. Starting this fall, you can turn your media passion into a high-octane career. Ohio Media School will train you for TV, radio, social media, and digital media. Get real-world experience and hands-on learning with their cutting-edge Activator curriculum through internships and live remotes with industry pros, small class sizes, and real-world media studios. Accelerate your career with their 6 to 8 month programs. Visit Ohio Media School now at beonair.com to book your free studio tour. That's right, free. Go to beonair.com now and seize your media future with Ohio Media School.
Hi, here are some ways to listen to The Fan. You can download the Fan app or listen at home on your smart speaker or open up the iHeartRadio app or hold your head out the window and hear Common Man scream. Happy listening from the Dopes at The Fan.
Common Man here for Care Heating and Cooling. Weather is unpredictable, but the inside of your home should be comfortable just the way you like it. And the best way to avoid those unnecessary surprises is with a care plan. See, with a care plan, you get priority service, system maintenance in case of .org. Just another way to give you and your family peace of mind. And maintaining your systems properly can help save you money. A properly maintained furnace and air conditioner run more efficiently, reducing your utility usage. Regular maintenance also prevents breakdowns and extends the life of your equipment. I'm on the care plan, and I'm quite the expert. I'll stop by and give your system a once-over. I will. Don't tempt me. I end every commercial the same way, telling you to hire Care when you need a company you can trust. It's not just a slogan. That's the Care creed. How about this? Lennox. They have thousands of dealers nationwide. HVAC royalty. Last year, Lennox gave Care their coveted Partner of the Year award because they're trusted by their customers and their partners. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING or book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com when you need a company you can trust.
Trust. Not everyone deserves it. Not everyone should have it. It needs to be earned. Your trust. And when it comes to accurate information about Ohio's safe and secure elections, where should you turn? VoteOhio.gov. VoteOhio.gov is the source for providing you with the facts and real information about elections. So no matter where you are, what you do, or who you choose, get the real facts about Ohio's elections. VoteOhio.gov, your trusted elections source. Sponsored by the Ohio Secretary of State, Frank LaRose.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Dell Technologies and Intel are pushing what technology can do. Bring your ideas to life at Dell.com.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Finally, much-needed rainfall on the way. We will be looking at a few downpours. There could even be a couple of stronger thunderstorms early this afternoon. Temperatures going 80 today, 81 tomorrow with a few showers, and then Thursday is looking drier. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
The best hair on the air. You are listening to Bishop and Friends.
And just keep it locked right here on the Fan all day long. Rothman and Ice to follow. They will follow the Ryan Day press conference, which will come right around noon. Then Tyvus drops by at 1:33. By the way, he is, I meant to text him this, he is superb on the network postgame show with the Browns. He did a great job on that. We were listening to that as we were leaving the stadium on Sunday. Man and Bone with a little bit of Inside the NFL at 3:48, and then Roundtable to follow between 6 and 8. There are 6 teams who made the postseason a year ago who are 1-2 or worse to start this season in the National Football League. They are, in the NFC, San Francisco, Dallas, and just ram it, baby. In the AFC, they are the Browns, the Ravens, and the Dolphins. If you were to rank them least likely to get turned around to most likely, who is number 1 on your least likely list, Reese?
Dolphins.
Chops?
I had Dolphins as well. It's too much of a question mark with Tua, right?
I think they're almost cooked.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. I had them as least likely. I think they're almost in their own category.
They are lost season kind of at this point, yeah.
Maybe they could sign Tannehill, I suppose, is what they could do. But, yeah, they feel like they're headed towards lost season. Who is 5th?
I had the Rams because they are, it's not any one singular.
I'm sorry, second.
Yeah.
Second least likely.
Second least likely, most least likely. The Rams, because their injuries, while it's not a specific one like Tua and the Dolphins, they just are mounting so much for them. And I think Stafford's out of his window anyways. You know, he was right at the end of it when he won the Super Bowl his first year there. And I don't think he's going to be enough to put it together with all those guys sitting out early in the season already.
He was so good Sunday. God, he's good. All those offensive linemen out. No Nakua, no Cooper Kupp. They're right there. Reese, who do you got? Who's second least likely?
So this is, in the knee-jerk reaction from Sunday. I'd have the Browns because I think the Rams showed that they can manage because of the stellar quarterback play.
I'm with you. I have the Browns as the second least likely as well. I just think unless I see something drastically different in the offensive approach on Sunday, unless they get back to what they are and they get him under center and they look, I know you don't like this, but like we're past caring what you like we're trying to win football games. Unless they do that, and my hunch is they won't, I don't think that there's a turning around. I think this kind of is who they are. I think they got old overnight on the offensive line. They really aren't. There's not a whole lot of separators in route running. It's kind of just Jerry Jeudy.
And they're not catching anything either.
Right. The loss of Njoku is huge. It just feels like a lot of bad mojo for them. So I have them second least likely as well. Third least likely. Reese, who do you got?
Well, I have the Rams there. So
the Rams, okay.
Just from what they showed me that, and the other 3 teams, I think most 9 of 10 listeners, maybe 10 of 10 would say probably making the playoffs in San Francisco, Dallas, and Baltimore. And I think if the Rams get that kind of quarterback play from Stafford, and I still think a lot of these teams have a chance at the deadline to maybe pick up something that could really bolster them in the back half of the season. So it's the Rams.
Yeah, do you go Cleveland here, Chops?
Yeah, I had Cleveland right here. So I'm not too far off from where you guys are, but I guess I'm still just holding out hope that something clicks offensively for them, whereas the Rams, it just feels like who's going to be out there for them. But you're right, Stafford did play well in that one of a team that is later on this list for all of us here.
I have Dallas here. I don't think Dallas can run it. I don't think they can defend it. Their only win is against Cleveland. That's it. And they got hammered at home. The other 2 times, they have no run game whatsoever. They have nobody other than CeeDee Lamb, who's scary. He held out, so it's taking him a while to get all the way up to speed. He's yelling at Dak. Dak's yelling at him. This thing feels like they did nothing in the offseason to better the team. I have them actually here on third. And then it gets to the point where you could see all of them. You made the point, Chops, about, I think San Francisco is going to make the playoffs, right? I think the Rams maybe won't, but I think that they'll be in the mix because of Stafford and because of McVay, and they have good culture. The Ravens are interesting. Baltimore is interesting.
Them continuing to be bad and not closing out games, but I could also see them still winning the division.
I don't know if we talked about it on this show with Baltimore. Like, they lost a stud at all three levels of their defense. They lost their defensive staff. Their defensive coordinator's 3-0 with Seattle at the moment. I don't know my hunch is that the Derrick Henry signing is something that they will lean on in December, is my hunch, that when it gets to late in the season that they'll rely on him then. It's strange that they can't get first downs late in games to be able to close things out. I mean, it's 2 weeks in a row where just get a couple of first downs and they couldn't do it. And I don't know if Todd Monken doesn't know what to draw up, or they're not executing what's there, or they're too cute. I don't know what it is, but their inability to close out games is puzzling to me based on their talent.
Yeah, not picking up those late third downs. It's like strange. You have the best dual threat quarterback in the history of the NFL and maybe the biggest running back to ever play consistently, at least, and you can't make sure that you get those third downs until you give other teams chances. But them and San Francisco are the two where I don't think this is a bad team. I think just some things have led to them losing those early games. And remember, they were a foot away from going to overtime against KC.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. They also lost at home to the Raiders.
Which that one was, I don't know.
Two scores in the fourth quarter, and they blew that. One thing to watch for on San Francisco is this injury stuff. How much of it, no Deebo Samuel, no Kittle, no McCaffrey, all of those guys out. And Purdy is still awesome. But if they aren't the team in the NFC, because I think we all kind of assumed, they've been the class of the NFC for a while now, can Philly get back? Just take a look at the NFC standings right now. Seattle is 3-0. The Saints and Bucks are both atop the South. The Vikings are 3-0. The Commies and Eagles are atop the East. The NFC, through 3 weeks, wildly unpredictable. And Detroit and Green Bay both look good. You could see three teams in the North get in. Minnesota might get in. It might be Minnesota, Detroit, and Chicago all getting in.
Yeah, and I think the thing is there are some surprise division performers in the NFC, which I think will pop down some teams we thought were going to be good. And somehow in the wild card, the NFC might be a little bit more of a logjam than the AFC. When we're only a year and a half removed from being man, I just don't see how you compare the playoff type teams in the NFC to the ones in the AFC. But not to say that has completely dropped off for the AFC, but just looking at it, because if Minnesota surprises us and wins that division, well, I still think Detroit's going to make it. And like you said, yes, Green Bay could make it as well. If we are surprised by the Commanders or somebody else in the East, do the Eagles still get in? They are currently in a wild card spot. And then the Saints playing well might actually net at least two teams vying for the playoffs in the NFC South, which is something I wouldn't have predicted.
I wonder if the South does what it has done for the past couple of years, where there's two teams that are flirting with 500, and then one of them makes the playoffs, and the rest of them are just left out because, 9 games shouldn't get it in.
Yeah, in
this NFL, but it will if you're in the NFC South. But just one of you.
South is interesting. One thing, it was Detroit and San Francisco, right, in the preseason. Those are the teams that we pointed to in the NFC, with maybe Philly behind them a little bit, just slightly. Jared Goff is giving the ball to the opposition at a pretty alarming rate. He has more interceptions than touchdowns, despite the fact of them being 2-1. That is not going to cut it for them. He's got 4 picks and 3 touchdowns. So the NFC is pretty wide open right now. The AFC, I think there's 4 teams for 2 spots is the way that thing's going to shake out. I do think Cincinnati can get back into it, but it's going to have to start right away, and they're going to have to fix their defense at some point in real time. Ben Baby covers the Bengals at ESPN. He's going to join us on that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
1, 2, 3. The Daily Coach Ryan Day Show is brought to you locally by Credit Union of Ohio and by Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
This is a Daily Show with Coach Ryan Day, brought to you by Safe Light Auto Glass. Looking back at the running game, big to get all of your running backs contributing last Saturday the way that they did in that game.
Yeah, it was good. I thought they ran hard. I thought they ran downhill. Ran through a bunch of tackles. You saw them both have the ability to run away from guys and make guys miss with their feet. But But to me, I just kind of like the velocity of the way that they're running downhill. A couple stiff arms in there for touchdowns, and then running through contact. And the more we can do that, the more that we can get downhill. It certainly opens up everything else in the offensive game.
We'll have another comment in just a moment.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
At Ohio State, we are the never afraid to innovate teams, the agile, get it done teams, the achieve more together teams, and the improve people's lives teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
Learn more about Ohio State at osu.edu/impact.
Ryan, as great as it was to get Donovan Jackson back, is the development of Austin Saraville to help you create depth on that offensive line?
Yeah, that's it. But Donovan being in there just brings a level of confidence, I think, across the board. Not only just by him doing his job, but just the communication across the board. And I thought Josh Simmons played one of his better games this past game. Just overall, the way that he was running downhill, finishing blocks. Same thing with Seth. Seth played really good in the game. And I think part of that is knowing you have somebody there with a lot of experience who's communicating on the sideline, during the game. But, yeah, it was also good to get Austin in there. Austin and Integra both rotated at times. And so I think that's good for both of them. It's good for, the health of our offensive line.
There's the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
What do football and finances have in common? The team you play with makes a big difference. Credit Union of Ohio is your financial team to help you save and spend like a winner. Whether you're looking to make a big purchase or find ways to build up your savings, you'll always work with a team player at Credit Union of Ohio. Navigate your next big money play easily through Credit Union of Ohio's website at cuofohio.org. That's cuofohio.org. NCUA insured, equal housing lender.
For more than 35 years, Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse has been known by Buckeye Nation as serving the best steaks in the city. Our thick-cut, aged steaks have been a staple in Columbus with 3 locations, in Upper Arlington, Dublin, and downtown. Hyde Park is proud to introduce our newly added wine room at the downtown Columbus location, where a new elegance in dining will surround you. And coupled with live entertainment every weekend, Hyde Park will be the perfect setting for any occasion or the perfect night out. Hyde Park is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. Mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Ohio Basement Authority. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at ohiobasementauthority.com.
Ready to turn your media passion into a high-octane career? Ohio Media School will train you for TV, radio, social media, and digital media. Dive into hands-on learning with their cutting-edge Activator curriculum. Gain real-world experience through internships and live remotes. And get insider knowledge from industry pros. Small class sizes, real-world media studios, and 6 to 8 month programs. They accelerate your career with personal attention and essential skills. Visit Ohio Media School at beonair.com to book your free studio tour.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Bo knows many people. He talks to the interesting ones on this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, let's get a little smarter, kids, when it comes to having a conversation about the Bengals. One of the best in the business. He's our good buddy, Ben Baby. Covers the Bengals at ESPN. He joins on the Brian Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Ben, thank you so much for the time, bud. Did you see last night coming at all?
I did. I actually told I told my buddies who cover the Commanders, I said, yeah, I think this could be a potential ripe for an upset. However, I did not see it happening in the way it did, in that Jaden Daniels just looked masterful out there. I can't remember the last time I've seen a quarterback have that kind of performance where he was just in complete control. It reminded me of Lamar Jackson playing these teams in 2019 against the Bengals when they were just really struggling. So I think now the Bengals, are staring at 0-3 and quite frankly have no reason to be, given that they lost to two teams that they should have beaten at home.
Ben, did we not, maybe you guys did on the beat, and I tried talking about it in August a little bit, but did the league at large not give enough attention to what they were attempting to do in the back end of their defense, and then married that to the losses that they had up front in the middle of their defense?
Yeah, I think that, I still think their secondary can be good. I think it was interesting. I think it was one of our folks, maybe Bill Barnwell, made an interesting point in that the Bengals defense was just getting a little older, and it's a lot of the same guys who have been a big part of that group that were, on that Super Bowl defense a few years ago. But I wonder if age and injuries aren't starting to take a toll. I still think that their corners specifically have a chance to be really good. I know that, Cam Taylor-Britt's been making headlines, and you look at the advanced numbers. I thought that before he got hurt last year, he was playing at a Pro Bowl caliber. Yesterday got beat for a deep ball to Terry McLaurin, but I think he's been pretty good for them over the last couple of years and has a chance to be a really good player. Geno Stone coming in to replace Jesse Bates, I think that's a challenge. But really up front, you need to get more, more pass rush, and whether that's getting more from Trey Hendrickson, getting more from Sam Hubbard. All of those things are, things that need to be addressed, and this defense has to get something sorted out.
Ben, the notoriously slow starters under Zach and with Joe, it's well documented, well known, but this is something else. What makes this one different, and should there be more cause for concern than normal in Cincinnati?
Can you repeat that question? Sorry.
Slow starters notoriously for Burrow and Zach.
Uh-huh.
What makes this one different and more cause for concern than previous years?
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, I think the difference here is, potentially in the uncertainty on how Joe Burrow is going to look long term. I think it's been encouraging if you're a Bengals fan, in the fact that he has been improving on a week-to-week basis coming off that wrist injury. But when you look at the pieces in kind of how they've recovered from the slow starts in the past, the defense has been able to play a lot better. In 21, I thought that was a really good unit. 22, they played well at times. And I think now the issue is we just don't know what they're going to look like on that back end, and also how well Joe's wrist is going to hold up. And I think that's what makes this so unique. And the vibes just have been just slightly off, and just it's hard to put a finger on it. But, I think that's what's probably most concerning right now. But the solace is about how easy the Bengals schedule is. If they're able to get things, on the right track, then they should be able to recover. But it's just a matter of just trying to figure out why they haven't been able to pull out these one-score games in these first 3 weeks.
Talking to the great Ben Baby, covers the Bengals at a very, very high level at ESPN. Been down there for a minute now and does it very, very well. This was a noisy camp, buddy. You had all this stuff with Jamar. You got start of the season, T gets banged up going into the opener. How much does that contribute, or is that just revisionist history, looking back on it now because the wins haven't come? Or were there some signs that this was going to be the way this was going to go back to camp?
I think a little bit. I think that, for me, we didn't see Joe Burrow throw a ton of deep balls towards the last, I'd say, month of camp, and that was a concern. And we saw that kind of play, come to fruition in week one. And then we saw the 15-yard penalty that Jamar Chase, got in the Kansas City game. And I wonder how much of that wasn't just frustration from not only how much he was being defended, but also how everything had dragged on. He thought he was going to get a contract, held in accordingly, and it never really played out that way. You saw the report the night before the game from our Adam Schefter about how he felt he was misled, and I think that we've put a pin in that for now. But I think that's something to keep that we might want to circle back on when this season wraps up and see where that goes, because that very felt like a line in the sand type of a report there. And so we'll see how that continues to develop. But yeah, I think throughout camp, like you said, it's all of those things, and then factored in with Joe's wrist. You had the makings of this potentially not going well early, and that's exactly what's happened.
Ben, were you in that scrum when Jamar talked about that he was misled?
So I was in his, yes. So that was a report that Schefter had closest from sources that were close to Jamar. But I was in that scrum from when Jamar talked for the first time in camp. Yeah, for sure. So
how did that get so messed up?
It's interesting. I got when it was very clear when the off-season workouts occurred, and he did not show up for any of the voluntary stuff, and showed up only for the mandatory portion, and did not practice in the mandatory portion, only did walkthrough. And I said, are you healthy? And he said, do I look healthy to you? And so essentially it was, in fact, he was 100% healthy. But he did not want to comment at the time on the contract situation. And then as camp played on, when training camp started, he did not want to interject throughout camp. He wanted to try to make sure he didn't say anything that would jeopardize the possibility of a long-term deal. And once that it became clear that he was not going to get something done, or it was going to happen one way or another, then he spoke. And I think that from the beginning, I got the sense that it was going to be hard for both sides to find a middle ground when you look at how much money Jamar was looking for, the guarantee structure that the Bengals had. And then also, I also wonder how much, the uncertainty of what this offense is going to look like moving forward. I just think that the timing wasn't right. And now, how does that play into what's going to happen moving forward between Chase and the franchise? I think for 2025, that's really what I'm most interested about when you look at the long-term future of this team.
You mentioned the schedule. It's navigable. They got 8 games before the bye week. I would assume the goal is to be around 500 by the time you get to the bye week, which is November 24th. If that is to happen, what are things that need to change with this football team immediately to get there?
Yeah, I think that you just need overall consistency just to be a little bit better. I think when you look at how they played defensively, had a really poor first game. I thought they played well against Patrick Mahomes in that second game and really had a really game plan. And yesterday, Jaden Daniels basically did whatever he wanted. Washington was able to run the ball at will, and Jaden was able to move the pocket and just really extend plays. I mean, he did not look like a rookie out there. And on the offensive side of things, the Bengals have been good. The drive rates are good. The issue is they're not being able to capitalize on opportunities in the red zone, and Joe Burrow has talked about that. That's something that came up in the locker room yesterday. And if you want to win at a high level, you've got to be able to score touchdowns in the red zone. You cannot settle for field goals. Yesterday, they had a critical stretch in the third quarter where they were inside the 30 3 times and did not score a touchdown on any of those possessions. That ended up being one of the biggest differences in the game. Same thing happened against Kansas City. So I think getting that defensive consistency and also taking advantage when you're near the goal line, those are two things they have to get done if they want to win.
Ben, I'll get you out of here on this one, buddy, and greatly appreciate your time. Do you think this is a playoff team by the time we get to January?
I think that there's still a good chance of that happening, but just right now, there's just so much. Again, the vibes are very strange. It's hard to put a finger on why this has not come together for them. Even in the locker room, they were scratching their heads as to why they're sitting there 0-3 when they felt like this is a team that should be competing for a not only a playoff berth but making a deep run with the way that Burrow, they felt like Burrow was coming along. But I think there's just so much uncertainty, and you're starting to see all these things that have kept this team together over the last few years, the reasons why this team has been so successful. We're seeing them slowly start to chip away at various parts, and I think that's maybe why, if they're not going to make the playoffs, that may be the case, and that all these things are slowly decaying. And how do you fix them over the course of a season? Just a really fascinating situation in Cincinnati.
It really is. I know Bengals fans don't want to hear it, but it's, my gosh, there's a lot of layers to this stuff, and you covered as good as anybody. Really appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for your time today.
Yep, thank you.
All right, that's the great Ben Baby covering the Bengals at ESPN. Here are the next 8 leading into the bye week. Panthers, Ravens, Giants, Browns, Eagles, Raiders, Ravens, Chargers. If they go 5-3 in that stretch, which could be a tall order, you're talking about 5-6 heading into the bye week. To me, that's the minimum. They got to go 5-3 over the next 8 to have a shot. Otherwise, you've really dug yourself a heck of a hole. We'll hit 3 things on a Tuesday up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Looking for your next Subaru? At Byers Airport Subaru, we give you options from start to finish. Browse and shop entirely online from the comfort of your home at ColumbusSubaru.com or stop by and visit one of our friendly brand specialists just by the airport.
Right now, you can get a new 2025 Subaru Outback for 2.9% for up to 72 months.
Whether you prefer to click or come in, we've got you covered. Your journey starts at Byers Airport Subaru. Come see why it's better to buy at Byers.
Subject to credit approval. Financing offer term up to 72 months on 2025 Subaru Outback. Cannot be combined with any other incentive. See dealer for details. Offer ends 9/30/24.
You want Jersey Mike's signature sub? You get a number 13 original Italian. You want a dramatic radio idea? You get me. Like this. I'm the 7th-string quarterback and the other 6 quarterbacks go down. The coach yells, DeVito, you're in. The crowd is worried until I throw a touchdown. But the other team is celebrating. Apparently, I threw the Jersey Mike's number 13 original Italian I was eating on the sidelines. Whoops. The number 13 original Italian, Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
Trust & Will knows that you're likely celebrating a loved one's birthday this month because fall is the most popular birthday season in America. And Trust & Will celebrates by protecting what matters most. Trust & Will makes estate planning easy and affordable, designed by attorneys but customized by you. Visit trustandwill.com with offer code Columbus for 10% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code Columbus. Trust & Will is an online service providing legal forms and information. It is not a law firm and is not a substitute for the advice of an attorney.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
Windows, siding, APCO. Absolutely. We don't rely on gimmicks to get customers. We rely on our reputation. APCO is a local, family-owned window and siding company established in 1962.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can trust APCO.
APCO.com.
Bobby Carpenter once sold workout equipment on QVC Canada. There's no joke here. That actually happened. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
The Columbus Men's Clinic opened in 2014 for guys who get it done. Let's talk, fellas. You solve problems all day at work. You fix your sink when it's broken. But when it comes to ED and low T, it doesn't get done. We get it. You hate going to the doctor, but you're the guy that fixes things. At the Columbus Men's Clinic, there's nothing to fear and no reason to delay. We've been destroying bedroom boredom for a decade. So if you haven't fixed this, call us. When the pills fail, call us. If you feel like you've tried everything, call us. Here, there's hope. From the conventional to the next level. You'll be seen by our friendly, discreet physician who will take the time to listen. Imagine finally taking care of this with no surgery. Imagine going from feeling gray to living life in vibrant color. It's time to be confident. Join the thousands of guys who have found success after walking through our doors. Will you be one of them? Dial 614-300-7400 or go to ColumbusMen'sClinic.com to schedule a $99 male performance consultation, including blood work. Do it for you. Do it for her. ColumbusMen'sClinic.com. Book your appointment now.
Direct Auto Insurance is for uncompromisers. The people who refuse to make trade-offs in life. Like Kelly, when her old car insurance got so expensive that she couldn't afford to drive anymore, do you think she started carrying her groceries for miles? No. But she did find Direct Auto's savings that allowed her to drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25%, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a quote today at directauto.com. Savings based on applied discounts and will vary. Terms apply. How you buy can affect price. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365. We're at 365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Columbus, Worthington, Air, and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Connect with the show on X at 971BFS. Jump in our YouTube chat or just send a raven. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, what do we have on the poll today?
The Daily Fan Poll asks, after 3 weeks, which team do you believe will win the AFC North? 48% of you think the 3-0 Steelers are going to win it all. 39% think the 1-2 Ravens are going to win the North. 5% think the Browns, 5% think the Bengals.
I would go with the Ravens right now. I think that the Steelers just won't have enough to keep this going. They just happen to be 3-0. They'll still be good, but
I think good wins. I mean, they really whipped Atlanta.
I think
early.
Baltimore can still get to like double-digit
Chargers
wins,
on
for sure.
Sunday as well. Baltimore's got time. I think Baltimore's got some issues. I think all these teams got issues. I don't think any of them are. I think what happened in Cincinnati with their defense is what happened with Cleveland on their offensive line. They got a little bit old, kind of out of nowhere, and it's going to be struggle for either of those two teams to dig out of it. But yeah, it feels like Pittsburgh or Baltimore would be the one to go with there. All right, time for 3 things on a Tuesday.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Custom Air. Custom Air. Custom Solutions. Custom Comfort.
Number 1 for me this afternoon is this one. NBC, it's rained, obviously, last night, rained this morning, going to rain probably a little bit more, is going to play his first ever mud game. It occurred to me as I was talking to him this morning because 90% of the football games he's played in his life have taken place on artificial turf. And the opponent tonight on the road, no turf. So at one point he goes, Dad, do you think they'll move the game? I said, no, I don't think so. I think you're going to play in the mud, buddy. I think that's the way it's going to go. It's going to be a mess to clean up. He was kind of excited about it. I said, you're going to be excited for it for about the first 5 minutes, and then it's going to suck. That's the reality of it, if it's a true mud game. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes tonight.
In 6th grade, we played a Pee Wee playoff game. Everybody made the playoffs, and our team wasn't very good. We lost because our tailback slipped in the end zone. We lost 2-0.
Brutal.
That's how rainy it was.
Mud game.
Terrible.
Mud game, baby.
First one for me, this is a problem I've noticed with binge watching a TV show. It eventually becomes background. If you have it on too much and you keep watching it and you say, sure, next episode, everything like that. So I think we need to pull back a little bit and say, we'll take a few days off. We've been watching Only Murders in the Building with Steve Martin, Martin Short, Selena Gomez. And we had never watched it, but always been intrigued. And we got to season 3 now. And I noticed yesterday that we basically went through a whole episode and we're like doing other things, maybe looking at our phone, maybe talking, maybe doing something with the dog, whatever. And we kind of looked at each other and I was like, did we watch any of that episode? So you got to be careful. Make sure you're still watching when you play it.
It's especially comedies.
Yeah.
It's really easy to do with comedies.
That happened with me on the 2nd season of Only Murders in the Building.
Yeah.
So it was like the 2nd episode. It's like the 1st or 2nd episode with Paul Rudd. And I remember looking down and looking up, and the episode was over. And I was like, yep, all right.
There you have it.
Bye. The Guardians host the Reds tonight at 6:40. Only 5 games remain for Cleveland, who can clinch a first-round bye just by winning the last 5. Any one of the last 5, they get a win. Thank you, Seattle, for beating the Houston Astros. There's still a chance for the Guardians to take the number 1 seed, but they've got to win out and have the Yankees go over through Sunday. I'm hearing reports of champagne bottles and taped up lockers in the Bronx tonight. Probably not going to happen.
Number 2 for me. Caitlin Clark's first WNBA playoff game did 1.8 million viewers on Sunday against the NFL. I said this summer, she's Tiger Woods. From a rating standpoint, she is Tiger Woods. That's stupefying to get almost 2 million on a Sunday up against the NFL. Nuts.
Unfortunately, do they play? They play tomorrow. They play tomorrow, and that could be it.
They got crushed in that game Sunday.
It's just a 3-game series there in the WNBA, so it could be gone. But
Rig it.
Because then they'd have Friday night if they get a game 3.
Get her to the line. Find a way.
So this is something I noticed today. I was trying to watch a YouTube video, and I was sitting at my table, and I had my Legos that I was playing with the other day, and I was like, you know what? This just might work. I inadvertently, accidentally constructed a phone holder out of Legos. It's a little spaceship that I created, and it can fly around, do lots of things, but apparently it can also hold my phone. But it is funny when you just have these Legos, and it reminds me that you can build some functional things. I just don't know when I need them. But that's my goal now. I'm just going to build Legos when I need a little thing.
When you have mini chops and you start to get to relive your childhood via all of that, it's going to be the time of your life.
It really will be.
You're going to love it. You're going to love it.
Rothman and Ice are up next from 12 to 3. Speaking of things you're going to love, Ryan Day, Jim Knowles, and Will Howard are going to be speaking with the media around noon. We're going to carry the Ryan Day portion of things. That's noonish. Coach Day is going to join Buckeye Roundtable tonight at 6:30. Could that new kickoff time for Ohio State, Michigan State? Remember to set your schedules accordingly. 7:30, Buckeyes and Spartans, Saturday night on Peacock.
Have they always made the quarterback available in that main presser on Tuesday like that?
Not that I can consistently like this. Yeah.
This is different. I mean, they got a pro at quarterback, and they're treating him like this is an remember NFLU kids.
Mm-hmm.
This is what the NFL does with the quarterback, and that's what Ohio State's doing with Will Howard. They are treating him like an NFL quarterback. Every week, the quarterback has to talk in the NFL, and that's what's happening here. I think it's cool. Really good job out of them. Finally, number 3 for me, I saw Michigan USC did 6.32 million viewers on Saturday. OU Tennessee did 6.27. Both were on network. They did not go head to head. One was in the 3:30 window. One was in the evening window. I'm very curious the strategy on the Big Ten and the SEC and what will play off bigger long term, playing the hits or doing what the Big Ten is doing, because OU Tennessee 6.2, 6.32 for Michigan USC. That's pretty much a toss-up, and I think most people would acknowledge Michigan and USC are the better brands significantly, and it barely beat it in the afternoon window.
Last one for me. We've only got a few more months to be able to just kind of leave everything at home and go somewhere for 3 to 4 hours. So we're going to see a movie tonight, and we are doing the matinee. Seriously, guys, if you have the time ever in an afternoon or even on the weekends, if you can get the matinee ones, I got 2 movie tickets for $10 off the app of the movie. No names. I'm not advertising for them. I'm just saying the matinee prices are great. You guys probably haven't heard of this. We're seeing The Substance starring Demi Moore. It's supposed to be a body horror, so we'll see what that looks like.
Oh, God.
If you're free tonight, the crew have a chance for more hardware. Going to host Club America at Lower.com Field in the Campeones Cup. It's a historic one-off match with the MLS Cup champion playing the Liga MX champion.
They just making stuff up. Really?
More trophies, baby.
Stuff didn't even exist when I was on the crew extra beat, for God's sakes. Ryan Day coming up next. We're back tomorrow on a First Friday. Rothman and Ice to follow that. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination. This is a Fan action update.
8 Big Ten games on the schedule this weekend. Starts out Friday night with Rutgers, a 3-point favorite over Washington. Indiana's a 7-point favorite over Maryland. Purdue, a 10-point dog to Nebraska. Penn State is giving Illinois 17.5. Michigan's a 10-point favorite over Minnesota. USC's a 2-touchdown favorite over Wisconsin. And the Buckeyes are a 25-point favorite over Michigan State. For your action update, I'm Scotty Vegas.
Shop new dollar deals at Meijer. $1 is all you need when you shop hundreds of participating items, like select bell peppers, Swanson broth, or Campbell's soup, and 1.25 liters of Coca-Cola or Pepsi products, all just $1 each. That's it. Pay just $1 on select items with Meijer dollar deals for a limited time. Limit 10 per item. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in-store or in the Meijer app.
Attention Ohio pizza restaurant owners. Tired of glitchy point-of-sale systems slowing you down? Meet Hunger Rush, Ohio's favorite pizza POS. With reliable hardware, an easy-to-use system, and 24/7 customer support, Hunger Rush speeds up your operations and boosts repeat orders by up to 10%. This is the restaurant point-of-sale built for pizza. Easily manage your drivers, easily take orders online, easily train your staff in minutes, and easily make modifications. Need to talk to a real person? That's easy too. Top Ohio pizzerias are winning with Hunger Rush. Solutions to help you streamline service, optimize workflows, and maximize profits. Join the thousands of successful restaurants transforming their operations with Hunger Rush for $0 down and $0 a month. Tools for menu management, marketing, customer engagement, and increased upsells, all in one simple platform. That's Hunger Rush, Ohio's favorite pizza POS. Schedule your free no-obligation demo at ohiopos.com. ohiopos.com. ohiopos.com.
Well, here we are again, and I got to tell you, Jim, this match has me really concerned.
Here we have a powerful heavyweight, a train, weighing in at 6,000 tons. And this hasty lightweight challenger, a car, at just 1.5 tons.
This does not bode well for the car or the people in it.
It's no contest. Every day, people are injured or killed trying to beat a train at rail crossings. See tracks, think train.
Connie,
I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
By the time you're finished listening to this Pepsi Zero Sugar, you'll be 15 seconds closer to kickoff. Stock up now. Bengals game day is so close, you can almost taste it. Bengals watching. Better with Pepsi.
Sonic Temple Art and Music Festival returns for its biggest year yet. For the first time with Metallica. 2 nights, 2 different set lists, no repeat weekend. Plus exclusive Metallica experiences. With Rob Zombie, Alice in Chains, and over 100 more bands to be announced. 4 days, May 8th to the 11th at historic Crew Stadium in Columbus, Ohio. Select passes on sale Wednesday, September 25th at SonicTempleFestival.com.
Get Nature Stone and never replace your flooring again. Nature Stone is a beautiful permanent flooring solution for garages, basements, and indoor spaces. Act now to get pricing as low as 99 cents a square foot plus installation. Schedule your free cost estimate today at naturestone.com.